Dime qué tú quieres, papi.
Because I'm gonna slide up in the algorithm and I'm gonna fuck it. Yo, like this is crazy. This nigga is crazy. Like, no, really, he's crazy. Oh my fucking God.
Yeah, this is what it is. It's what it is. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. I done played the block and it's time to stop. Pop the block, then drop the top. But I have to say fuck the got shake, keep it high up on my block. Keep it not up in my pocket. You know the G and it can't be stopped. Flip the script with serving deal. Keep the heat on Silent Hill. You know when I know that feel water just so cold. Riding on foes, slamming wood dough. Sipping on drinking, fucking these hoes. Riding on boats, pushing kilos. Me and my boys ball out of control. Got so much ice we can balance football. Me, Lil G, I can't be hoe. Look at my mouth, see number gold. Fucking with a knife, will make you fold. Look at my room, see number polo. Step in the bed and in the studio. Over your nose, the smell of smoke. Over your mouth, and start to blow. Now you know we got that dope. Cause me and my boys ball out of control. We keyed up and G'd up. And we should've lost straight speed up. We should've decided to pull my heat up. Lost in going big, I'm fucked up. Nigga, we keyed up and G'd up. Once should've lost straight speed up. We should've decided to pull my heat up. Lost in going back, I'm fucked up. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle.
Hitting niggas in they fucking head with a crack. Bustin', I'm bustin' back with a gap that spits venom. You sitting black. And when the bottom of the knife and it's smack, Iblis,
the cat's waxing him back.
Cause he ain't suffered enough, hustled enough, scuffling cuffs his hand to a cop, nothing discussed, cutting his nuts to his cock. Something to shock a spark out your heart when you stop jogging in the park. And you meet a nigga dog that fighting ball, blood spilling on the sidewalk. Staying in the light is smart, despite staying on course, of course. Cause the smell of death escaping out of corpse is rough. Top half man and I be damned if they bottom half horse. Hush, lost souls rushing to touch the black hole, wishing to be dust gagging and fuss. Cause the demon face leaking pus.
All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. All talent on trapping and rapping and moving muscle. If it ain't about the hustle, then I don't wanna tussle. Trapping and rapping ain't about the hustle. I don't wanna tussle. All trapping and rapping ain't about the hustle. I don't wanna tussle. All.
Dime qué tú quieres, papi. ¿Quieres que lo mueva para ti? Mueve, mueve. ¿Te gusta cuando me muevo así? Así. Mueve, muevo, mueve.
Hey, you, we up in the place, we up in the place, we up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake, make your body shake, make your body shake. Hey, you, we up in the place, we up in the place, we up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake, make your body shake, make your body shake. Hop, hop, jump, skip up on the floor. If they didn't know, then we gon' let them know. Drop low, giving them a show. We gon' give them something that they never seen before. Hop, scotch, 784. Bouncing on the beat while keeping the flow. Stop, watch, freeze and go. Cock-a-doodle-doo is what you eating off the floor. Pop, lock, do it by yourself. You know you the best, you don't need nobody else. Rock, hip, toast to success. You was born a winner, so you never nothing less. Hey, you, we up in the place, we up in the place, we up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake, make your body shake, make your body shake. Hey, you, we up in the place, we up in the place, we up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake, make your body shake, make your body shake. Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle,
Dime que tú
wiggle.
quieres pa' ti.
Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle,
Quieres
wiggle,
que lo
wiggle.
mueva para ti.
Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle,
¿Te gusta
wiggle.
cuando me muevo así? Así.
Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle. When we come through, make you move just a little. Clap, clap, snap, do it from the hip. You can do this whether you stand or sit. Pump, fist, do it with your wrist. Pump it back and forth like you're trying to catch a fish. Hip, twist, do a finger kiss. Rocking back and forth as you make your body shift. Top, tick, do it like you sick. 2 + 4 is 6, and that's arithmetic. Top, 6, we gon' let it rip. We got your attention and we not gon' let it slip. So hands up, move your head and know what's up. Now it's shoulders rolling while you showing them your stuff. Hey, you, we up in the place, we up in the place, we up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake, make your body shake, make your body shake. Hey, you, we up in the place, we up in the place, we up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake, make your body shake, make your body shake. Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle,
Dime
wiggle.
que tú quieres pa' ti.
Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle,
¿Quieres
wiggle.
que lo mueva para ti?
Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle,
¿Te
wiggle,
gusta
wiggle.
cuando me muevo así? Así.
Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle. When we come through, make you move just a little, 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 just a little.
Hey, how y'all doing out there?
What's up? What's up?
What's up, Pat? How you feel, man?
Feeling pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I can't complain. I ain't gonna lie. I feel pretty good today. And to everyone out there listening, remember, we want you to be an activist. And don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. I am frustrated, though. I'm frustrated because I was just thinking, like, how much do you pay for healthcare like a month? You don't have to really tell the number, but like that most people pay, like, for a good insurance, they're paying like $400+ a month for a decent insurance. And usually that's for one person. And it's gonna be more than that with more people on that same policy.
Yeah, I'm actually paying I just redid I got a new policy where I'm just now getting down to about 400 for the month.
And
So
and the thing is, though, you know that we're gonna talk about the Build Back Better plan because I think it's dead. I'm pretty sure it's dead. And so we're gonna talk about it a little bit, but you know, there was stuff in there related to healthcare, like they wanted to give you could negotiate pharmaceutical prices, you know what I'm saying, as a group. You know, the government, like the pharmaceuticals, because we're like one of the few countries, I think we're the only country that doesn't do that. Because, you know, they buy all the drugs, right? They already know what drugs they're going to need, like a lot of it. So they buy them in bulk. And with that leverage, they can negotiate the prices for those drugs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's real simple. Like, I used to be a restaurant manager. I worked for Darden. And Darden is so big that they can do that with their food that they buy, because they have chain restaurants that they have underneath them, multiple chains, and then they use a lot of the same food in the different restaurants. So they buy huge quantities of this stuff, and then again they get to negotiate those prices. They get to push those prices down because they're like, hey, we're finna buy a whole bunch of this stuff, man. Don't sell it to us at retail. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you go to Sam's and you go there. The reason why you go there is because you get a better price on toilet paper or whatever, something that can last, you can keep for a long time, and you don't pay that retail price because you're buying such a large amount of it. So like I say, we are one of the few. I think we're the only country, like modernized country or northern country or western country, however you want to call it, that doesn't negotiate the pharmaceutical prices. And that was in there. That was one of the things that was in there. They wanted to help seniors be able to get eye and dental, I want to say, because in Medicare, the one that's for older people, it doesn't cover eye and dental, and they wanted to put that in there. So that that's what I'm saying. Like, but that's why I'm frustrated, because the bill that they passed earlier, the one that they call what did they call it? The infrastructure bill. That one was basically mostly a corporate giveaway. Like, it was totally okay to pass that bill, but the one that's gonna actually help people is the one that doesn't pass.
Yeah. Now I hadn't really looked at this bill, but I know based on like some of our previous conversations, I mean, a bunch of it has to do with the I mean, the country sinking or floating, and some of the like the infrastructure things, like, I mean, I don't know what all, like I said, I don't know exactly what's in it, but bridges and roads, in order to keep this country going, like, there's certain things that has to happen. And yeah, I mean, I'm not against people getting fair. I mean, shit, I'm a people, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want fair insurance and stable pricing on medications and stuff. But you know I also, this, I'm in the natural meds for the most part. I mean, if something was to happen, I get into an accident or whatever, like me going into the hospital won't be totally crazy, insane. But so I pay a monthly rate to, if any type of emergencies occur. But how overall, I mean, I think that's mostly what it boils down to, is the budget hasn't been balanced in shit. It's when was the last time the balance of the budget was balanced?
Yeah, it's been but it's been Democratic and Republicans in office during this time where we've had this deficit.
It's not
Um,
It's not this. That's not a bipartisan thing, and that's one of the things that we need to understand. Like, that's an entire country. Like, we all rely on being able to do things, and we really want to see this country grow. We can't you know do frivolous things and expect that we can truly grow as a country. Or, I mean, we can grow individually and do things ourselves and give a shit about everybody, everything, and everybody else. But we have to have some
America
structure.
first. That's what I think, and I really, really, really think that. Like, I love that when Trump was saying that, but that to me means that like he said, ending all these forever wars, like Afghanistan, and we got to give hats off to Trump for doing that. So, but still, why come the military budget went up this year, even though we ended that war? And and why are they okay with giving them so much money, and they even upped the amount they gave them? And that's a part of the budget. That's a huge part of it. But no argument on that.
Well, and like, it seems like, I haven't heard any of the top Democratic business people saying end subsidies. Like Tesla, what's his name, Elon. He's like, look, Like, no, I don't. Like, because a part of that, I know the original bill had something to do with putting those power stations up, to charge electric cars, as far as part of the infrastructure bill. And he's like, no, like, look, nobody's doing that for gas stations. Like, nobody ever did that for gas stations. So, if you're a business person, you want to be in that business, that's what you do. You invest in it and make it available for people, whatever. But
No,
like,
that's not true. They heavily subsidize the oil companies heavily, and they to this day they still subsidize them. They
so
do.
they
They helped them. They helped
start
them build
gas.
all that shit. That's what's so fucking not fair. The power lines, the phone lines, all that shit came out of tax fucking money. These damn okay. The private companies do build the gas stations. That's true.
Okay.
But the infrastructures that support the gas stations was built by people, by was and they help they always subsidize the oil companies because they be talking about, oh, well, they provide jobs or whatever. So, we give them these subsidies because they provide so much jobs. They put so much money into into the economy.
Well, I mean, because are you talking about like pipelines and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Because I mean,
there's lots of infrastructures related, and I'm sure they privately fund those pipelines, but I'm sure those pipelines get subsidies
mm,
too. I'm sure,
no,
without a doubt.
no, that's the part I know that the government has a lot of um that has a lot of investment in or putting money into, but as far as like shit, they paid truck drivers for the longest to move oil, like for the last 80 years. So I mean, the pipeline became a big thing within the last 10, and that's something that is pretty much gonna put, like, I'm not gonna say put truck drivers out of business, but that's like really the main thing that, like they're taking business away. Like, I don't know.
I
Uh,
think the pipelines are good and bad because it's like with everything, like I always say, because the pipelines are actually more efficient. So being more efficient, that makes everything better. It's just that whenever they do fuck up, whenever it's a leak or something, they just really need to be on top of that shit really quickly because those types of leaks are way bigger. Because like if a truck, the truck is moving only certain amounts, something happens, it's not that bad. A pipeline spills, that shit could be tons and tons and tons of that shit spilled before they get over there to fucking fix that shit.
well, and that's where I think that's really gonna cause a big problem for uh America. And then, like, to me, it's just like, you know that's like, if you really want to see America on fire, yeah, just there goes the pipeline right there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, there's certain things, like there's so many different places that was, unconnected, where when they're all connected.
Oh, I get what you mean. It's more able to be attacked because it's more like centralized. That's what you
uh
mean?
exactly.
Yeah, but that's tough. Like I say, anything on the continent, United States, like the mainland, it's tough as hell to get over here and do like pretty much anything. It would, unless you are an American. Americans can do it, but other motherfuckers coming over here trying to do some shit like that, they're gonna have a hard time.
mm, Honestly, like, I mean, I guess there's a lot of American companies, but there's also non-American companies that's working on some of these pipelines as well.
Oh yeah, almost all of them are international, and that's what I be saying about everything. Anything that's big like that, like a fucking pipeline, you can bet it probably got China, Russia, Iran, who all knows, India. It could be it's gonna be a whole bunch of hands in that pot.
Yeah. I honestly, I'm just totally losing a lot of hope. And you know, I'm gonna say this: like, you need to start teaching your kid how to count satoshis.
And the thing is, this might just be deferred, like a deferred action, because my daddy used to say because he was saying World War II was important, but he was a military man, and he would talk about history sometimes, and that's probably the reason why I'm into history. One of the reasons, but he would say if you would be speaking Japanese, or you could possibly be speaking Japanese. I think that's what it was. Yeah,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
the way things happened, and it was really a hair, like somebody was telling me, and I'm gonna look this up, but something having to do with latrines and catching disease, not knowing how to deal with, because the way I always understood was it was the snow, right? It was because that's how they taught us it. What actually happened is Hitler and them got bogged down in the snow trying to attack Russia in the middle of fucking winter and all of this shit, and his equipment got all fucked off, and he
Yeah.
couldn't move. He couldn't move like he wanted, because the whole thing was the blitzkrieg, right? Just like in football, they call it the blitz. So that's where they got it from. The way Hitler took over cities was, it was just like really fast, by like a ground and air attack all at once, and then like pretty much you just the army, who's ever there, just end up surrendering. You know what I mean? Because it's just really
So
quickly,
quick.
bah, 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 so fast, and then it's over. And then that's scary as fuck to the rest of the countries. They're looking at this shit like, holy shit, this nigga took over a whole fucking nation in like a couple of days or some shit, like a
Yeah.
week. And that's what they were scared of. So him moving fast, that was his thing. So the way they taught us in history was that he got bogged down and he couldn't move fast, and that's pretty much how the Russians like ended up pushing him back. But I heard a story that said it had to do with latrines, it had to do with sewage, it had to do with not knowing how to deal with their poop properly, because there was so many soldiers and they were on the on the fight field, and the Russians knew how to deal with that. Like they had a system related to building these like fucking sewage drainage
Trenches.
type trenches, whatever you want to fucking call them. They had a system that they built that they dealt with that, and they're saying that the Germans did it, and I don't know how true this is. So that's one of the things, and then the guys were getting sick is what they're saying. The guys were getting sick, and what they were getting sick was related to the poop.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't heard anything about that. Not in detail anyway, but I don't know, bro.
Anyways,
I'm,
let's watch a
I,
bit. Let's watch a bit of this before we get off. I don't even know how I ended up talking about that, but here we go. A little bit about this, the Build Back Better shit.
As our president, he told us that he believes he has the commitment to get this done in the Senate.
President Joe Biden's Build Back Better spending bill is now dead, or essentially dead, as I'll get to. So I'll get to why this happened, how the Progressive Caucus leadership failed by trusting Joe Biden in allowing this to go as far as it went, and everything in between. So there is, this story, I guess, maybe would have been a little more surprising a few months ago, but it's not surprising today. I predicted this back in a video at the end of November. Once this vote happened, once the Progressive Caucus decided to cave and support the bipartisan infrastructure bill, it was over. So the squad did the right thing, 6 votes against the infrastructure bill, understanding that once they gave their leverage up, that was it. Like, that was the leverage they had. They understood. This is why they held out so long. They understood that if they voted for the infrastructure package, then there would be no vote or a completely cut down budget bill. But Progressive Caucus gave in, trusting Joe Biden in the process. And I'll get to more on that in a second. But first, so initially, the budget bill was fantastic at $3.5 trillion. It had a child tax benefit, universal pre-K, paid family medical leave. tuition-free community college, lower prescription drug costs, dental, hearing, vision, Medicare expansion, housing, home care, major climate money, immigration, lower Medicare age, Obamacare expansion, taxing the rich, taxing corporations, fees on polluters, Medicare negotiations. I mean, it was packed. It was eventually cut down to 1.75 trillion, to a honestly terrible bill, but it still had an extension of the child tax credit, which is going to run out very shortly, universal pre-K, and lower prescription drug costs for some prescription drugs. So it still had something in it. But now it's likely never at any point going to get passed. So this news from Jesse Rodriguez here, saying from NBC News, Senate expected to shelve Build Back Better bill, moving forward aggressively now on voting rights. More here from NBC. Democrats in the Senate are preparing to miss their self-imposed deadline to pass President Joe Biden's $1.7 trillion social safety net bill before the end of the year, according to four sources familiar with planning by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's office. The decision to try again next year is based on simple math. Schumer doesn't have the 50 votes needed to pass the legislation thanks to Joe Manchin, who remains a holdout. Schumer is instead hoping to take action on voting rights that has stalled in the chamber, multiple sources said. That legislation, which failed to get any Republican support and therefore could not clear the needed 60-vote threshold. Senate Democrats are discussing changing the rules to allow for passage on a 50-vote majority, a move that remains uncertain. A group of four moderate Democrats, including Manchin, have held numerous meetings in the past several days to discuss a possible rule change. Additional meetings are planned for Wednesday. First, because I can't help myself, they have to freaking stop calling these people moderates. They are conservatives. Joe Manchin is single-handedly right now, apparently the only one holding up the budget bill. Yet the plan now is to move forward on voting rights that need 60 votes. Now, yes, voting rights is incredibly important, should have been done already. But how do you expect to go from a discussion about a bill where you need 50 votes, the budget bill, to a bill where you need 60 votes? Now, I guess they're trying to change that, but Manchin has said, if you read this article, Manchin goes on to say that he's not going to support lowering the 60-vote threshold unless he gets bipartisan support to do so. So he wants Republican support to cut out Republicans in a vote on voting rights. How are you going to get that? Manchin is playing games. He is a Republican. There's no, how can you possibly consider him to be a Democrat when he is obstructing everything Democrats are trying to get done? It's unbelievable. But this goes to the failure of Joe Biden. You have the ability. He had the ability to put pressure on Joe Manchin, be it with his daughter and the EpiPen scandal that she's involved in, be it himself with his conflicts of interest when it comes to coal and voting on climate change legislation. There are a number of ways where Joe Biden could have put pressure on Manchin and decided not to do so, either because he is afraid or doesn't care, or a combination of the two. Ultimately, though, Joe Biden, incredibly weak when it comes to actually fighting his own members to get something done. Just an incredibly horrible leader and terribly weak president. Now, let's get to more on Manchin here. So Manu Raju here tweeting out, talks between Manchin and Biden are not going well on Build Back Better, per source familiar with talks. A huge sticking point, the child tax credit. Manchin wants it cut. Source says he wants to zero it out. They are very far apart, source says. I just got to stop here for a second. You're calling this guy moderate. Manchin, who supports child poverty, Joe Manchin actively supporting child poverty, a moderate position. Are you out of your damn minds? At what point are you going to stop calling these people moderates? These are far-right conservatives. If you are pro-child poverty, you're a far-right conservative. He goes on here, saying strong Democratic pushback to Manchin's demands to cut the child tax credit. Quote, it's not going to get zeroed out, says Senator Sherrod Brown. Told me that's non-negotiable. Elizabeth Warren said, we need the child tax credit that has cut childhood poverty in America by nearly half. So this is one of the few things that has actually really helped people recently is the child tax credit, which is going to run out shortly, needs to get put into this bill and passed. But just on a purely, if all you care about as a Democratic politician is winning, you win by helping people. You're going to lose by letting the child tax credit run out. This again goes to showing you why Joe Manchin is a Republican. He's not stupid. He understands this, but he is fine if he plays these games with Republicans. So West Virginia, a very conservative state, he'll likely lose anyways in his next election. But he's going to try and be as conservative as possible simply to keep his seat. But he understands that Democrats need to do something to help people, and that if this runs out, it's going to hurt the ability to get voters out to vote for them. Manchin knows this and does not care, let alone caring about the actual children at the heart of this issue.
The Democrats are toast.
Now, this also goes to why it was so goddamn dumb to vote for the infrastructure package in the House. From Sludge here, talks between Manchin and Biden on the Build Back Better Act have soured per reports. Manchin already got what he wanted in the infrastructure bill, including provisions boosting the waste coal industry from which his family company earns millions. So there's more on that in Sludge, a great outlet here, by the way. Sludge, Common Dreams, American Prospect, Daily Poster, all websites that are worth going to frequently to really know what is going on behind the scenes in Washington. But yeah, this is why it was so dumb to support the infrastructure bill, because why would Joe Manchin care to support the budget bill if this bill was passed first? They gave up all their leverage. And this goes now.
They literally gave his company money.
Jayapal tweeted this out. So to be clear, Jayapal, chair of the Progressive Caucus, tweeted this out last night, saying nearly 2 in 3 voters support Build Back Better, which is true. Enough with the delays. Let's get this done and deliver for working people. Less than 12 hours later, or about 12 hours later, the bill was killed.
The entire bird knows that this wasn't a good idea.
Either she really has no idea what is going on, or is just, trying to fool all of us by pretending she actually cares. Because this is what she said back in on October 28th, once they decided to support a vote on the infrastructure package before getting.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, to me, it's just like a monumental. Like this is how the Democrats play. Like they pretend. They act like they're gonna do some big, massive, great thing for the people. Yeah. And
it's part of the game. Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, bro. I mean, Joe Biden. Like he's been in government for so long. Like he's not he's old, but he's not stupid. He might be one of the biggest racists that ever lived, but he ain't never been considered stupid. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things like they are fucking great at playing the people. Like they're the saviors, they're the ones that's trying to do everything, to help the people. But at the same time, it boils down to the math. Y'all know we can't afford this shit. What's gonna happen to our country and everything else if we do this shit. Like they all know, it would be great to have all these cool things going on and building up and this, that, and the other. But if it totally crashes the economy, you know what I'm saying? Like, that makes sense for nobody.
They definitely be playing people, bro. They be playing, bro. It's the whole game. Let's watch a little bit more of the video and then we'll talk about it.
The Senate, and this is really, this is a tip of the hat to the president. He is our president. He told us that he believes he has the commitment to get this done in the Senate, and we are going to believe the president of the United States.
Oh, you're going to believe the president. Tip of the hat to the president. How did that work out? You failed.
I like this.
Your strategy failed. Now, at this point, you have to come out as chair of the Progressive Caucus and admit that you were wrong. You were wrong to trust the president. Your strategy completely failed, and somebody else should be in your place, in that leadership position. Jayapal, Mark Pocan, Ro Khanna, all were wrong. I don't know how this bill is going to get passed. It's dead this year for sure. They say they're going to revisit it next year at some point. Really? Are you? At that point, is Manchin going to then support a child tax credit? I don't think so. Why would he? It's not going to happen. So that's it. Democrats have screwed their chance at the midterms. Biden's still not willing to cancel any student debt, which he can do through executive order, as I've covered before in the past. He can cancel all student debt, but he won't even cancel a little bit for everybody. There's been a bit canceled for those that went to private colleges. I've covered that in the past, but in terms of any real substantial cut to student loan debt, he's not willing to do it, even though he has the power to do it as the president. As one person, he can do it.
And he ran on that.
Nothing. You're offering people nothing, especially you voters that you need to come out and vote for you, those ones that are disillusioned, younger voters especially. You're doing absolutely nothing for them. How do you expect to win? You're not going to win. You're going to lose the midterms, and at that point, there's no chance of getting anything done over those next 2 years until 2024. They're screwing themselves now by doing absolutely nothing, and the Progressive Caucus also deserves blame here for trusting Joe Biden.
Bro. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just like a feeling that I'm getting, is just that, like, our entire government is playing us. I mean, you know, it's silly for us to take any side, because they all got their hands in this and playing their roles.
I 100% agree with you on that. 100% agree. It is kind of silly of us to pick a side. Like I say, it's like picking the football team. You know, I'm the Texans fan, or I'm a Dallas fan. I'm a Cowboy fan, you know?
Yeah.
And whatever. They're playing the game, and all them niggas is millionaires. And we watching them at home.
Yeah, they win no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like, it's just so much, bro. Like, I mean, it's so much history in you know, and we like this is like straight from the playbook. Like, I mean, this has happened so many times. For somebody to not see it coming is like showing how oblivious you are to what is really, you know, how they operate. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you get your hopes too high in any of this shit, you're gonna be let down.
I had to learn that lesson the hard way. And then they do it to you over and over again too. Like each time, like, oh, well, this time it's gonna be different.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean,
what I hate about it is the money.
They're so craftful with these freaking lies, bro. Like, I mean, you know, Joe Budden's like, shit, we might as well, we could go big. You know, we ain't gonna do this shit. Let's throw this in there, throw that in there, and you know, like, they gonna feel like we really tried. Like, we can really, like, you know, this is kind of like FDR was like, shit, we'll have these motherfuckers vote for us for the next 1,000 years, because they know we trying to do shit for, or at least they think we are. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's so sad. It's so sad. What I hate is the money. I hate every, like, you know, political cycle, all the you know, they're asking for money, and then it's like, you know, you have faith in them. I've never contributed to a political campaign financially.
Me either.
But I know a lot of people do. And then it's like every season they're spending all this money, you know, to try to support this person, try to get them in. And then meanwhile, and like, you know, they get to keep that money. They get to keep that money when they lose.
Yeah.
It seemed like it's a whole game, because like we were saying, everybody wins regardless, because if there was a big name and they was running for office, and that's what I say, I think the Democrats get paid to lose. It's so much money on that side. It's so much money on that side. Even when they lose, they get a big fat check.
Well, I mean, there's so many things that you know, like learning, you know, going through the ranks of learning the Moorish paradigm, at least some of the Moorish paradigms, is that, you know, you see that you see what the government was built on. Like, this current government, it's like it's not real. Like, it's totally a corporation. And even with people knowing and understanding that, a lot of times they still go, like, some people still kind of get invested in it and like really believe that, you know, they're actually going to do something different. Whereas if 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 they could, maybe they would, but they can't really act as a true government. Like there's a lot of things that this government has been charged on in the international community, to where, like, you know, the only, like, they haven't come and invaded and taken these people out is because of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, you know, and then we keep voting for the same bullshit, and like we don't stand up for ourselves to like try to get these people totally removed and, you know, actually become a government of the people again. Like we haven't had anything that looked close to it since Lincoln. And based on the history, like some would even say that was the last real president of the United States of America. Not just the United States, because that's like a different thing. United States of America, the last real president of you know, that actual government was with Lincoln. So I mean, I don't know, bro. Like something really has to change, you know, with us as a people, and you know, truly being you know, looking for others to govern us or to do the right thing by us is getting totally old.
Nothing short of revolution, man. That's what I think. Nothing short of revolution.
Yeah, man.
Nancy Pelosi. Here's another one of his videos. I'm not gonna play it all, but you know about the trading and shit, right? Like the thing is, the Congress people be having information. You know what I'm saying? Insider information, and they use that information to trade, buy and sell stocks and make overnight profits on that shit. And they do this shit commonly. And that is against the law. Like that's what they took fucking Martha Stewart to jail for.
Oh, you think they respect the law and all the fucked up shit they've been doing to us? They truly
market and people
and
House
people,
Speaker Nancy
and they want to
Pelosi
talk
defended
about
law.
Hold on, they want to talk about the Republicans all the time, but as far as the most crooked, like the Democrats got that shit hands down.
Makers and their spouses trading stocks, even though there is a clear conflict of interest there. And I'm sure her famous stock trading husband and their $200 million has nothing at all to do with it. So before I get to the video of her answering this question, this is the report that led to the question. So this from Insider. At least 182 high-ranking congressional staffers have violated a federal conflict of interest law with overdue disclosure of their personal stock trades. So I will link to this article below the video on YouTube, but just their summary here. Insider analyzed congressional staff financial filings from January 2020 to mid-September 2021. Reporters found at least 182 instances in which senior staffers were late disclosing stock trades. Quote, a lot of people just ignore the law and it goes unenforced, one ethics watchdog said. So the ones making the law, the ones that are, you know, should be the ones upholding the law the most, are the very ones breaking it because they know they can get away with it. Now, and by the way, this is just a law in terms of reporting their investments. Forget the fact that they're allowed to do it at all. I mean, that's the real issue here, that they are allowed to make these sorts of investments and the obvious conflict of interest there. But before I get to any of that, and Nancy Pelosi's famous husband, famous stock trading husband, let me first play her answer here.
182 senior congressional staffers have violated the Stock Act, the insider trading law. I'm wondering if you have any reaction to that. And secondly, should members of Congress and their spouses be banned from trading individual stocks while serving in Congress?
No, I don't know to the second one. We have a responsibility to report in the stock, on the stock, but I'm not familiar with that 5-month review, but if people aren't reporting, they should be.
Why should they?
Because this is a free market and people we're a free market economy. They should be able to participate in that.
This is laugh out loud ridiculous. I have 3 points here on this video alone. So she says here, no immediately. Look how quickly she answers that question to the idea of should lawmakers and their spouses be banned. Go back and watch that.
She
part
dresses so
she
nice.
Says no,
that's one thing about
the guys
Nancy.
finish the question.
She be
she can't wait to answer the question.
Shit, her little
Politicians,
purses,
and especially Nancy Pelosi,
that
are known
bitch
to take
be
a long
dressing.
time to answer and
Designer
how they're going to
clothes.
respond to certain questions. This one was like instinctual. She knew immediately. No, of course not, because that's how she makes her money. That's how her and her husband are so goddamn rich. And then the other part. I mean, this is her response to all of these people, you know, violating this rule is, well, if they're not reporting it, they should be. That's it. You're not going to hold them accountable. You're not going to do anything about it. If they're reporting it, they should be. Meaning you're not going to do anything and you don't care. And the last one there saying that this is a free market economy. So of course we should be allowed. But you have insider knowledge and control over the market that most people don't. How does that not play into your
how is that
calculus
fair?
here?
Like,
because of course they're just completely dishonest. She's in this for the money.
like
as
they
are
could make a
lot
law,
of the politicians
like
in Washington.
just pass a law
so
that
of course they're not going to
fucking
be against that.
helps a company.
Let's get to her
Then
husband
they
now.
just
So
put their stocks
retail
in that
traders are
company.
mirroring investments by Nancy Pelosi's husband, whose stock picks have been strong performers over the last 2 years.
Of course.
I wonder why.
I'm
sure he has no knowledge. I'm sure he's just lucky. He just, happens to pick the right ones. More here from Insider. Retail traders are watching what Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, is doing on the stock market to help them decide what to do next. His stock picks have been quite successful. Christopher Josephs, co-founder of social investing app Iris, told Yahoo Finance, saying that every trade quote, inevitably turned out to be such a long-term winner. It started with CrowdStrike in 2020, then Tesla, followed by Alphabet, then NVIDIA. He told the outlet, noting that each of Paul's disclosed positions has gained 20 to 30% since the initial investment. These people have knowledge and control that others don't. I mean, it's gotten to the point where Paul Pelosi is actually famous now on TikTok, apparently. So this from NPR. Young investors have a new strategy, watching financial disclosures of sitting members of Congress for stock tips.
Damn.
Among a certain community of individual investors on TikTok, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's stock trading disclosures are a treasure trove.
Damn.
Quote, shouts out to Nancy Pelosi, the stock market's biggest whale, said user CEO Watch.
Damn.
Another said, quote, I've come to the conclusion that Nancy Pelosi is a psychic, while adding that she's the queen of investing.
Damn.
Quote, she knew, declared Chris Josephs, analyzing a particular trade in Pelosi's financial disclosures, quote, and you would have known if you had followed her portfolio. And it's also mentioned here, of course, that her husband is the one that does the trading. Just unfreaking believable.
So
this
they
is not,
use
obviously not
they
an
watch
accident.
their trades.
There's a
and
reason
follow
why
their
young
trades.
investors are looking at sitting members of Congress for stock tips, because they have knowledge and control that others don't. AOC here a week ago said this, it is absolutely ludicrous that members of Congress can hold and trade individual stock while in office. The access and influence we have should be exercised for the public interest, not our profit. It shouldn't be legal for us to trade individual stock with the info we have. Unfortunately, though, she is the minority in Congress. So, you have very few individuals there that are actually fighting for the average person. Again, AOC, like the other Justice Democrats, ran their campaigns with individual donors, no corporate money, no PACs, none of that crap. So they actually represent the people when they're in office, but very few lawmakers actually do. So more analysis here from New York Magazine, saying, defined broadly, free market principles may well dictate total liberty for a member of Congress. Let a person profit wherever they can. Yet there are obvious drawbacks for everyone else. The average individual investor can't match the information or access available to a member of Congress. This is how the free market tends to work. A few profit at the top, while people struggle in the middle and at the bottom. Prosperity exists, but it's not universal. Exactly right. And just to be clear here, this is from Sarah Jones, a great writer that I often cite in my videos. But here's a quick way to understand this from Mac, good politic guy. Letting politicians be able to own stock is like letting referees openly bet on games. That's it. That's all you really have to understand. You have politics.
Okay, that's enough. What'd you think about it?
Shit, I wish I had some of that insider info.
Saying, man, wouldn't the rest of us?
Shit, I'd be rich as a motherfucker. But yeah, that's this same shit. I think you said it earlier. Martha Stewart went to jail for this very thing, and she probably was just kind of like because of everything. If everybody that was involved got in trouble, then you probably would have saw some politicians go down. But
Yeah, they just she was a scapegoat. She pissed somebody off. She was an outsider or something because she didn't grow up with money, so they might not look at her as one of them. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you never know how they really played that part, but either way, it's really messed up that they can even like during a certain period. I mean, even like even with their family members being able to do trading is kind of messed up. And I see how it can happen because it's like you can't restrict everybody, because I mean anybody that she knows would be like, it's just like those games that like even with the lottery, it's like, are you related to anyone or a friend,
Right.
what I'm saying? Anybody that like it's like you can't restrict everybody from being able to, be able to play the lottery or some shit like that because one person. So it gets tough on who you can say can and can't. But at the same time, when you see stuff like
Their
this,
spouse, that person and their spouse should be exempt from trading any stocks that are related to anything that has to do with what information that they have.
but the same thing happens with these big contracts. A president owns a company, shit, they give the ownership to their spouse or their
Right.
son or something like
That's
that.
what Trump was doing.
And
Trump
you
was
still-
making a killing and still making a killing.
He's not the first to do it either. You know what I'm saying? He played the playbook. I remember when Bush Jr. Probably was even with
and Cheney. Remember Cheney, because I want to say Raytheon, one of them damn companies was his. Halliburton.
Yeah, they all have ownership in it. The Bushes and like I'm sure many others, but they were at the top. Like they're like the board.
The ones that own the most the shareholders or whatever you call it, and fucking them motherfuckers was so they profiting. They make up a fake ass war because to this day everybody knows Iraq was bullshit, all the way bullshit. No weapons of mass destruction. The people who crashed the planes was Afghanistan. What the hell they got to do with Iraq? It was a fugazi, and so but they made money. The damn contractors, the damn private contractors, and the damn companies who fucking produce all them shit. Government contracts.
Yeah. But nobody, because I want to get to another thing, but that's really one like one of the bigger problems that's going on with government is that like everybody that's becomes one of these high offices has some ownership in a big ass company, and like they guarantee themselves a shot at making money while they're in office.
Yeah, man, that's so terrible. Like you were saying earlier, internationally, some of them have been tried for like war crimes. Bush, Cheney, they can't touch them. They can't touch them because of America. Obama. Yep. War crimes.
I mean, I hadn't really heard anything about Trump or Biden so far, but I know Obama was like the everybody from the 90s all the way up into 2012. was, you know, yeah, I think 2012 is when it really came out, when the Pope wrote a whole edict against, you know, what America was, what the United States, you know, is in the world. Like it's like a total sham. Like, you know, with Pope Francis, if you look up a proprio, motu, I think it's proprio, 2012. Like I have it in my phone. I could actually share it with you so you can read it and see some of the things that what it says. And this is directly from the Pope. And a lot of people don't realize the position what Pope really has with this country. He's like plays the king, like, you know. Uh, but however, most of the money that comes through the government goes to the Vatican and to London. Especially, I know, like taxes and things like that. But they were pretty much outing America, you know, pretty much trying to let people know what America is to the world, like the government, you know, quote unquote, how we see the government. But I was watching something, you know, moving from that a bit. They were talking about how, like, they had a whole meeting about, you know, people coming to testify and this, that, and the other, what they knew. But a lot of what was happening as, like, you know how people would send their money to Switzerland and Cayman Islands and this, that, and the other. Well, they found like that's actually happening in the United States right now. Like South Dakota is one of the places where like those uber rich are hiding their money so that they can avoid taxes and this, that, and the other, saying how, you know, they're not doing anything illegal, but at the same time, it's like, you know, we're at a crisis where like the tax monies that's able to be collected from the uber rich, even with them setting a mandatory tax that everybody has to pay, like they're still like they're not collecting the taxes that is needed to sustain the country. And these are the people who really, like, I mean, I forget how many, like it was a couple $1 trillion that's not getting taxed. And it's like they got it set up to where they're like they don't even want to show that they own this money. You know, like there's some kind of mysterious way that they're able to put it there, hide it, and not actually have to say that they own that money. It's some of the craziest shit ever. So, did you get a chance to see any of that?
I've heard that before. I haven't read that myself, but I have heard that before. And you're talking about the latest Pope, the one that's still the Pope right now?
Oh no, that's a separate story. But yeah, no, well, no, Pope Francis. I think he's somebody else's in there or taking the seat, because it says something about him being on the run, because like after him disclosing what he disclosed, like his life was in danger.
Mm.
So I don't think he's the Pope. This was when Obama was in office. This is like 2012, and you know there's a lot of scandal and stuff that was happening after that with, you know, the you know, what's the pedophilia, the, you know, like they were he was outing all kind of people, which, you know, would be
Pizzagate.
considered to yeah, well, you know, that was one of the things, because nobody will stand up and say that it really existed. But you know, it's not like they had kids in the back of the pizza parlor. That's where supposedly a lot of the stuff was, you know, like they would take orders of what people wanted. You know, you, in order to really get an idea of what was really going on during that period, you had to go watch The Fall of the Cabal. Like that right there, like I think I mentioned that to you before. Like you get a chance on YouTube, like there's like a long series of stuff. Like what would be, you can almost say it's evidence, but it's not really evidence, but it's a lot of things where you have to question, how many times does this have to happen before you just say it's just a coincidence. Like it's a bunch of shit that's been going on over the years. Corporations being built, what you call it, different organizations that tax free, what you call those, it's a lot of different organizations that's been built over the years to hide a lot of this activity. And some of the symbolism, some of the people that's gotten caught and their affiliations and this, that, and the other. Like these people are good at hiding their shit. You know what I'm saying? Like these are some of the best criminals that you probably would know. Like our government is probably filled with the most, what you call organized criminals that we've ever seen.
Yes, man. Very organized. It's the mafia and shit.
But the last part that I just said, that's a little bit separate from that. Like maybe I said it too close, but as far as all of these uber rich people that's hiding money, they're not even leaving the United States anymore. Like I said, they used to have these Swiss, the Swiss accounts over in Switzerland, going to the Cayman Islands, the Caribbean, and this, that, and the other, to be able to start up shell companies to hide, some of the real money that they've been making, so that they don't have to be taxed, and creating trusts that doesn't even have ownership, really. Like finding out who the beneficiary for some of these trusts is almost impossible, because like they're trying to hide money to be taxed, which is, like I said, I mean, it's hard to say it's a crime, but because I mean, me myself, like I want to protect things for my son to be able to have when he gets of age, to be able to, so it doesn't have to be taxed throughout the time, but at some point it'll have to be taxed. But for some of these people, that's one of the things that they're doing. Like they had a whole committee, different people testifying on how deep and serious this shit is, and how how much is going on, to where like there's money that probably should be taxed that's not getting taxed, and they're just trying to find a way to have more transparency of these things that's going on, trying to figure out who these people are and blah blah blah. Because I mean, not only is it like just the uber rich big corporations, but they feel that there's also mega criminal organizations that's hiding monies in these places, but nobody can really say who's who did any of this stuff belongs to. So
that's the scariest part. That's the scariest part. People talk about China this and China that. What if China already owns like 75% of the United States? Like already right now today.
I've heard that that China owns California.
See, I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised. You have to follow all these. That's again with those loopholes and these fake companies and all kinds of ways that they do this type of shit.
I'm gonna tell you, bro. Look, and you can call it speculation. You can call it whatever you want. But in my opinion, my thoughts is that the Democrats, maybe everybody, the entire government, but I see a lot of it, like these movements being done by Democrats. But I think that their job right now is to crush America, so that them being, a part of that, true world economy, where it can be, up for grabs for anybody. Like I see the biggest giveaways are the, the carelessness of how our resources and things are being handled here, because they could crack down on these taxes and be able to pay off the debts so that we can be in a position where we could truly grow as a country. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not at a point, like we're almost at a point where we can't recover. But if they wanted to see us recover, there could be a true plan that within the next 10 years, that if they followed it, that we could actually not just recover, but really be in a position where we can really grow. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. Like, there's a bunch of house moms that could take this budget and whip it up and have us fucking gleaming. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man.
It's crazy, man. I know it takes your breath away. At least it does mine. Yeah.
And I'm not being misogynist. I'm just saying, like, there's some house moms that are smarter, that would utilize this money way better than what are.
Deputy constables killing one is expected in court.
Where you at? I can't hear you.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Sophia Ojeda in for Andy Sirota. In the next hour, the 19-year-old
I'm reading in history of shit that
fucking
happened 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. No, I'm living through it. I'm seeing it.
Yeah. This is a random news story. Check it out.
Hello?
Is expected.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. A minute you went out earlier, but then yeah. I know. Like I say, it just takes your breath. Check this random story.
In court, the shooting happening back in October. Deputy Kareem Atkins was killed. Deputy Daryl Garrett was shot in the back, and Deputy Jukaim Barthen was shot in the foot. KPRC2's Kathy Hernandez has the latest on the teen charged in this horrific shooting.
Good afternoon. Eddie Alberto Miller set to appear before a judge at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Then 30 minutes later, HPD will have a press conference so we can learn more about how they caught him nearly 2 months after that deadly shooting here outside this bar.
Houston police officers and Fort Bend County deputies made an arrest in the killing of Deputy Constable Kareem Atkins. Overnight, 19-year-old Eddie Alberto Miller was charged with capital murder and 2 counts of attempted capital murder. Documents say Miller used an AR-15 rifle to open fire on the deputy constables as they were trying to, quote, detain an associate of the defendant outside a bar on the North Freeway near Cross Timbers on October 16th. 30-year-old Deputy Constable Kareem Atkins died. Deputy Daryl Garrett was shot in the back, and Deputy Joaquin Barthen was shot in the foot. Deputy Atkins was a father and husband. His wife said being a deputy was his lifelong dream.
He was a great dad. He was a great protector, supporter.
He was very well liked, just a super stellar guy. If I had, 5 or 6 of him, I could probably do what 20 or 30 people do.
Constable Herman is set to join HPD Chief Troy Fenner and Atkins' widow at that press conference at 1:30 this afternoon. We'll be there and stream it live for you on our website.
Yeah, that's random. What did you think about that?
Well, I didn't get to hear the full story for whatever reason. It shut my sound. Well, no, my alarm went off, and it just messed up all of my sound, and I had to close out and open back up. But
basically, a teenager killed one police officer and shot 2 other ones, and he's been arrested. They say he's 19 years old. Said he had an AR-15. He opened it up on him because they were, I guess, arresting his associate. That's how they put it. Or detaining his associate.
Okay. Wow. Were they in the middle of some kind of crime or something? Like what?
It must have been. But it had to be. I don't know why else the cops would be messing with you. I figure,
Yeah.
They didn't say that part.
Huh. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So they caught the guy. I think it said it's been some months since it happened, and they just not caught the guy.
Yeah. Hey, I might cause I'm about to get some fuel. I'm gonna have to switch over to this other app. It might close me out again. So just give me a few minutes, and you know,
That's
in case,
cool. I got a video, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Oh shit!
Yeah, let me see.
I forgot all about that going on. Like,
it's still
there's
happening.
So many other distractions going on.
The prosecution is done, so the defense is about to start.
Federal prosecutors resting their case in the sex trafficking trial of Ghislaine Maxwell. Today, jurors heard from a fourth woman who previously described Maxwell as a predator. She testified that Maxwell allegedly groped her during a nude massage when she was just 16 years old. CNBC's Valerie Castro live outside the courthouse in downtown Manhattan. Valerie?
Kelly, the fourth and final alleged victim in this case was a woman named Annie Farmer. She has been public and outspoken about her claims in the past, so she was the only one of the four women who testified without using a pseudonym. Some of her testimony came in the form of journal entries that she read out loud for the jury.
I saw this.
Annie Farmer addressed the court Friday, telling the jury it was her older sister Maria, one of Jeffrey Epstein's employees, who introduced her to him when she was 16. She recounted an outing to a movie in New York where she says Epstein sat between the sisters. She said, "It was a little weird. We were holding hands and then he caressed my arm, gave me a weird feeling." Farmer says it wasn't until Epstein invited her to his property in New Mexico that she met Ghislaine Maxwell. She claims Maxwell and Epstein took her on a shopping trip, and later at the property, she says Maxwell encouraged her to give Epstein a foot massage. She said, "I felt very uncomfortable. I wanted to stop, and I was hoping it would be over quickly." Then she claims Maxwell directed her to another room, told her to get undressed, and she says Maxwell massaged her, groping her chest. Asked by the prosecution why she was in court today, Farmer replied, "I'm here to be a part of helping Ghislaine Maxwell be held accountable for the harm that she's caused."
In cross-examination, the defense zeroed in on Farmer's testimony that Maxwell was not in New York when she initially met Epstein. And they also focused on the fact that Farmer says she did not document what happened in New Mexico in her journals, instead relying on her memory for that testimony. Kelly?
Valerie, when does the trial pick back up?
Well, Kelly, there is no court scheduled for the first half of next week, so the defense will begin their arguments on Thursday. Everything is moving much more quickly than initially expected. At first, it was thought that this would all take about 6 weeks. Now it's thought that the jury will get the case sometime before Christmas, and it is still unclear if Maxwell herself will take the stand in her own defense.
Damn, so we liable to have a verdict before Christmas. My bad. I'm here pressing too many fucking buttons. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Am I here? Am I here with y'all? I can hear me. Hold on. Can y'all hear me now? Are you there, Pat? I'm gonna refresh the page, y'all. Yes, I should be here.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What did I miss?
Oh shit! I thought it was me. You wasn't there. I was like, damn. Can y'all hear me? I just played a piece of the Ghislaine Maxwell
I
wrap up.
heard most of that stuff because I think didn't the district attorney or something like they after that testimony of the fourth girl, like they kind of rested their case or something.
Yeah, yeah. So the defense is done. I mean, the prosecution is done. So the defense is going to be starting next week. And they say we might get a verdict before Christmas.
Yeah, I think she's going down. She should. I really believe she's because I mean it's too bad that whatchamacallit is not here to take some of this ass kicking Epstein, but you just never know. I mean, you know, a lot of these guys are so powerful. I mean, who's to say if he's really dead? You know what I'm saying? Like we've heard many times
I think
over the years that
they killed him, man. Like I say, because he was gonna sing. He was gonna sing, and that's the reason why he couldn't go to trial. Everything would be totally different. This Ghislaine Maxwell trial is just gonna go away. Everybody's gonna forget about everything. The Epstein trial, if he would have started saying names.
Well, see, but that's one of the things that you know, if like I said, I mean, they have so much power, and for everything that he helped a lot of these big powerful people that you say these people that probably killed him or whatever, those same people would have you know, like found a way. Like if they let him go through all that shit, yeah, I mean he would be beyond his right to say something about whatever involved.
Yeah, man. I would have snitched because you know they was gonna try to throw the book at him. They was gonna try to give him all kind of time. I would have snitched too. Lower my time. Give some of these other niggas shit. I ain't the only one involved in this shit. I would have started singing like a motherfucker. I'd have been like, this shit is worldwide. This shit is worldwide, bitch. It's not just me. What name y'all want me to tell? Who y'all want me to snitch on? Everybody gonna get it. Let's do a little bit more of Ghislaine Maxwell since I can't hear you, Pat. I don't know I can't hear nothing.
In the city where the daughter of a shamed millionaire sought anonymity. 3 decades on, Ghislaine Maxwell is on trial.
She's Jeffrey Epstein's ex-girlfriend.
The world watching as she stands accused of trafficking girls for sexual abuse.
Now, I know I speak with a funny accent.
With friends in high places and connections forged through her father's business empire. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell's relationship with another man is being publicly dissected.
They fed off of each other. You know, he needed her and she needed him for different reasons.
Maxwell enticed minor girls, got them to trust her, then delivered them into the trap that she and Epstein had set for them.
According to her accusers, they were partners in crime. Ghislaine Maxwell providing the girls for Jeffrey Epstein to sexually abuse.
After almost 3 weeks of evidence, next, it's the defense case. And from thousands of legal documents filed with the court, we have a good idea what to expect. Ghislaine Maxwell's legal team will argue that she's been scapegoated since the death of Jeffrey Epstein, that the case against her is based on an age-old narrative of women being blamed for the behavior of men. They'll say of the alleged victims who've already given their evidence that they are mistaken, that their memories have shifted over the years, that their testimony is tainted by compensation claims worth millions.
and the emotion that's in their faces. And you can't see this on a page by reading about this story. You only can see it really in court.
Julie K. Brown was instrumental in revealing details of a previous deal between prosecutors and Jeffrey Epstein back in 2008.
Could you please give us your name? Jeffrey Epstein.
A deal the victims in that case were never told about. Now at this trial, she's been in court listening to the evidence and watching Ghislaine Maxwell.
In court, she's been very animated, and there's times that she's smiling and sort of laughing with her defense attorneys. They, by the way, have done a very good job. They're very experienced.
And very expensive.
Very expensive. And they have been, I think, really chipping away at some of these witnesses.
The women who gave evidence as part of the prosecution case claimed Ghislaine Maxwell
What's
was
that?
crucial in a grooming process.
What's that? You there? You there, Pat?
Hello.
Yeah. It's only like 2 other clips I wanted to play before I wrap it. I don't want to stay on too long tonight. You there? Am I putting you out to sleep? I'm gonna play a little bit of this. This is random as hell.
Home Team here, and welcome back to another video of African history, culture, and worldview. And today, we're going to be talking about the life story of Harry Washington, the enslaved African of America's first president, George Washington.
Pretty good. How about yourself?
By supporting this channel on
for
Patreon,
whatever
you're helping
reason,
in
my
the creation of these
started.
videos and supporting this on link in the description box
fourth
below.
one over. I
The enslaved
didn't,
African of America's
get the
first
actual
president,
bump.
George Washington, was known as Harry Washington. It's believed that he was born in a region around the Gambia River around 1740. He was brought to America early in the 1760s on one of the
I guess I
shipments to
can
the lower Potomac
check
River
and
area
come
in
back.
1760 and 1761. Late in 1763, George Washington purchased Harry from the
cash out
estate
for
of
another
Daniel
month.
Tebbs, a plantation owner on the lower Potomac River. George Washington had formed a syndicate called the Dismal Swamp Company with the intention of draining 40,000 acres of a huge swamp in the southeast corner of Virginia. The Dismal plantation was managed by his brother John, and Washington's contribution to the enslaved workforce was 4 people he bought from Tebbs' estate, Harry being among them. They worked in appalling humidity, enveloped in clouds of mosquitoes to cut a canal 3 feet deep and 10 feet wide that would drain into a lake 5 miles away. To get cash for the project, they also cut shingles of white cedar and cypress out of the vine-entangled woods. Harry was later described as a very valuable hostler, so his job must have included looking after Washington's horses. He continued to work as a house servant until June 1771, when he appeared in a list of the enslaved laborers on Ferry Plantation, most distant of the Mount Vernon farms. For Harry to be moved from skilled work to grueling plantation labor must have dismayed him greatly, and perhaps became the motivation for his planned escape. George Washington paid for a search party to retrieve him, and in a matter of weeks, Harry was captured and returned. Ironically, after some time, he was returned to the house to labor there. George Washington spoke openly about Americans asserting their rights, and Harry no doubt heard about disgruntled Virginians during this time. Harry, realizing an opportunity, escaped once again and managed to get the ear of the British, where he offered his services. Harry was absorbed into an all-black army corps called the Black Pioneers, formed in May 1776. Just 3 years later, he became a corporal in the Black Pioneers, which made up a 7,000-strong force. This force participated in the invasion of South Carolina and the siege of Charleston. However, in the end, the British were defeated, and Harry became part of a black community consisting of about 4,000 people who found safe haven in the British zone in New York. Nervous about the British defeat, Harry wasn't exactly sure what fate might bring him. However, the British kept their promise to former enslaved runaways and sent him to Nova Scotia in a settlement they named Birchtown. Disgruntled about unfair treatment and difficult land cultivation, the black settlers protested to the British government, and Harry, along with others, were then relocated to the British colony in Sierra Leone. Unfortunately, the black settlers in Sierra Leone and West Africa weren't given what was promised. On top of that, the British began excessively taxing them. Harry and others went to the mountains and started their own farms. Still, ardent about gaining more rights for his participation in the fighting with the British, he continued to protest, but to no avail. The black settlers were considered agitators, and they were all arrested and tried by a military tribunal. All of them were subsequently banished from the community, and unfortunately, that's the last we hear of Harry Washington. But it is interesting that an enslaved African was able to outwit one of the most celebrated figures in American history. Well, I'm all out, guys. If you like these videos and want to help in its
random yet interesting. Damn, where's Pat? We lost Pat. We keep losing him. Oh wait, he's back. Hey, you there?
Yeah, man. I don't know why it keeps doing it like that, but
did you hear much about Harry, the little video I just played?
no, none of it. Sorry.
It was about a slave who kind of like escaped, one of George Washington's slaves. It's a random yet interesting story.
No, you remember I went out to get the pump number? Yeah. No, well, it wasn't one of his children, was it?
It didn't say that in the video, but
first in 1590.
Definitely could have been.
Yeah, I mean,
knowing that guy.
Jefferson, some of those big ones, they the ones that they produce more slaves of their own loin than they probably purchased and sold.
Yep. And that's what's made France, the France colony, so different, because they didn't have the one drop rule like they had over here in America. So that's part of what ended up leading to the French Revolution and all that shit, and the Haitian Revolution, because you had blacks, you know, the mixed ones who were
direct
who got their own
descendants
property.
of some.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sure that was confusing for that time because, but I mean, a lot of it is confusing when you don't really understand the whole full dynamics. Yes. I'm sorry. Give me just a second.
I'm gonna play a bit of this right here. Russia.
First in 1598, the Rurik dynasty that had ruled the country for 700 years extinguishes. Then starts a period of troubles, as there are many pretenders to the title of Tsar competing for the throne, including imposters who claim to be of the Rurik lineage. Sweden and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth also intervene, and each support their candidate to the throne. After a victory, the Polish prince enters Moscow and becomes the new Tsar. But soon revolt breaks out, and he's driven out. Representatives from all over the country gather to elect a new Tsar. They choose to place on the throne Michael Romanov, a young man from among the older aristocratic families called the Boyars. He's the first of a new, very long dynasty. But he inherits a devastated country, ruined by years of wars and instability. Groups of looters plunder the countryside, while Polish and Swedish armies still occupy Russian territories. In order to restore the state, Michael I sets two objectives: to ensure peace and to stabilize the state's finances. At first, the Tsar, without an army capable of fighting, negotiates and obtains a truce with Sweden and then Poland. He's forced to give up many territories. He receives precious help from the Russian army to quell the Hungarian Revolution. After new tensions, a war breaks out against the Ottoman Empire. The Russian armies win on land and on sea, but this time, France and the United Kingdom intervene and declare war on Russia. For their part, Prussia and Austria, despite their alliances, remain neutral. The Russian troops withdraw from the Balkans. In the Black Sea, the Franco-British fleets dominate with their recent steamships. After a military landing, the better-equipped coalition armies beat the Russians. After the death of Nicholas I and the peace signed by Alexander II, Russia realizes that it's far behind in development in the military, economic, industrial, and agricultural spheres. The new emperor decides to reform and modernize the whole country. He first accelerates the development of railroads to facilitate access to remote regions and their resources. In the Far East, taking advantage of China's decline, Russia pushes back the border to the Amur River. Alexander II then frees peasants from serfdom, but they are now linked to their communities and must go into debt to buy back the land they cultivate. The emperor also reforms the army, the educational system, governmental administration, and the justice system. In Central Asia, Russian conquests are bringing the country closer to the rival British Empire. Fearing a new war against the latter, the emperor decides to sell Alaska to the United States, considering the region too difficult to defend. In the Balkans, insurrections undermine the Ottoman Empire. Russia takes advantage of this and, after a new war, imposes the independence of new states. But the European powers refuse Russian supremacy in the region and meet in Berlin to review the treaty. In Russia, the population sees this as a German betrayal. In addition, the situation is complicated for Alexander II. His numerous reforms are causing discontent. The peasants don't have total freedom, and the nobles have lost their privileges. The development of industry gives rise to a working-class community whose working conditions are very difficult. Finally, the Russification of the empire is done at the expense of the many minorities that represent a third of the population. Revolutionary movements rise up, some become radicalized, and Alexander II becomes the target of attacks. In 1895, expansionist Japan defeats China. The new emperor Nicholas II takes advantage of China's weakness to obtain authorization to build a railroad that crosses Manchuria. But in China, a revolt undermines the Qing dynasty, and an international alliance intervenes to quell the revolt. The Russian army then occupies Manchuria, which provokes the discontent of Japan, which has its eye on this territory. In 1904, war breaks out and turns to the advantage of the Japanese, who dominate the Russian armies. The Baltic military fleet, after several months of navigation, is defeated by the Japanese fleet. The Russian defeat provokes a revolution. Workers organize strikes, peasants attack the property of nobles, and minorities demand more autonomy. Finally, a railway workers' strike paralyzes the country. With his back to the wall, Emperor Nicholas II is forced to accept the establishment of a State Duma, that is, a legislative assembly, which weakens the autocracy. After bloodily crushing the last revolutionary pockets, the country's economy is revived. The production of iron, coal, and oil increases, which boosts industrial development. The standard of living rises, and the country modernizes. Moreover, a rapprochement takes place with the United Kingdom in order to delimit the zones of influence in Central Asia. France, the United Kingdom, and Russia form the Triple Entente, which opposes the Triple Alliance of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. A total war seems inevitable. The powers are preparing for it. In the Balkans, the heir of Austria is assassinated by a Bosnian Serb nationalist. In retaliation, Austria-Hungary, supported by Germany, declares war on Serbia. Russia, which wants to protect the Slavs in the Balkans, decrees general mobilization, and in a few days, all of Europe enters into war. St. Petersburg, whose name has a strong German sound, is renamed Petrograd. In London, the members of the Triple Entente agree not to sign a separate peace. The Russian armies are pushed back from East Prussia, but manage to move into Galicia. The Ottoman Empire joins the Triple Alliance and closes the straits, isolating Russia completely. In 1915, while the Western Front is frozen in trenches, Germany turns to Russia, where it seizes many territories. But here too, the front is frozen. Millions of refugees wander the country, while the war effort concentrates 80% of Russia's industry to the detriment of civilian needs. Inflation and rationing put the population to the sword as the war drags on. The emperor and his wife become increasingly unpopular, especially as they're under the influence of the mysterious Rasputin, who's considered a charlatan. In Petrograd, strikes turn into uncontrollable armed revolts. Emperor Nicholas II is finally forced to abdicate, which marks the end of the Romanov dynasty. A provisional government managed by the State Duma takes over. It tries to ease tensions, but chooses not to sign a separate peace with Germany. The war continues. The discontent within the population, too. A few months later, during a second revolution, the Bolsheviks, with Lenin at their head, seize power and directly sign a ceasefire with Germany.
Damn, I was hoping he would go into World War II.
Man, say, bro, some of the names that they're mentioning and during those periods, you know, like, I know it's not politically correct to say, hey, you know, these were black people that was fucking shit up during this time, you know. But because I mean, the Ottoman, you hear about the Ottoman Empire, and then who was actually in power in Japan,
Yeah.
who the Manchurians are, like even to this day, who the Manchurians are, like they still hold a big power in China. So, like, people have to kind of study for themselves to really be able to see it.
Yeah, I love that stuff. You know, history is my thing. That's what fucking hold on, give me a second. Okay.
During the 9th century.
No, that's not it. I don't think. Yeah, I love history, man, and it's like for you to understand what the hell's going on in the world, man, you gotta fucking look at this shit, or at least try to understand it a little bit.
Because I mean, almost any time they're talking.
Well, I can't hear you. You buzzed out.
It's like in the fall of a dynasty, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of it was our people that just so happened to still be able to hang on, like, you know, and any dynasty, any, you know, real black kings and queens that exist to this day, or people who kind of the ones who, shall I say, didn't really care about people that look like them.
Yeah.
But
Racism.
or sided with the enemy. Uh-oh. Did I get lost again?
No, you here? I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Shaka.
Yes, I can hear you. You can't hear me? Am I there? Are you there?
Hello?
He says there's a YouTube channel. I can hear you, bro, but I can't. There's a YouTube channel named Crash Course. They have great history videos. I love Crash Course, Doc. I've probably watched all of their shit, like literally every fucking show that they have. I'm pretty sure I've watched all of them. Yep. The guy that did the show, he went on to do some other stuff. He does different stuff now. And I watch that stuff too. You hear me?
Yeah, now I can. Yeah, another alarm went off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should be good for now. Like I'm actually pulling out now.
I love that history stuff. Oh yeah, one more thing. The strikes. The strikes. We need to talk about that
Bucks in Buffalo,
before we
New
wrap
York.
it. And we could talk about that history stuff too. Let me play a little bit of this and let you get yourself together.
Probably won't be the last and comes amidst a wave of union drives and labor justice actions, including strikes around the United States. We're joined by Nelson Lichtenstein, who's a distinguished history professor at University of California, Santa Barbara, where he directs the Center for the Study of Work, Labor, and Democracy, the author of State of the Union, A Century of American Labor, and also The Retail Revolution, How Walmart Created a Brave New World of Business. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Professor Lichtenstein. We just talked about Kellogg's and before that Starbucks, the first of almost 9,000 Starbucks stores that have been unionized in Buffalo, New York. You have talked about the significance of what you call this tiny acorn.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, the Starbucks thing, what's remarkable here is that the enormous amount of effort and money that the management put into stopping this organizing drive, it's really a statement on the part of management on how important unionism is. If they're going to spend all this money and bring their top executives to prevent a handful of workers from unionizing, that's the best endorsement of unionism I've seen in a long time. And of course, what's interesting about that is that they had to bring in some of their top people. One of the dirty little secrets of all of these retailers is that lower level management is unreliable as union busters. The local managers this is true at Walmart, at Target, at Starbucks, they're unreliable. They know the people, they work with them. And so that's why they bring in these well-paid, managers of all North America, et cetera. So if you have 20 or 30 or 50 Starbucks, and this seems quite possible. Every college town has a red hot Starbucks ready to organize. Then this will spread much too thin the top management, and they'll be unable to stop it. It's plus of course the Starbucks in particular has their clientele is sort of hip collegiate and Upper West Side of New York, what have you. So I think that there is the possibility of a sort of fire, at Starbucks, which could spread through the entire company, and clearly management is afraid of that.
And Professor Lichtenstein, I wanted to ask you in terms of you've studied the changing nature of the American labor movement, and we hear a lot about deindustrialization, when in fact there are probably more industrial jobs in the world today than there ever have been. The difference is that fewer and fewer of them are in the advanced industrial countries. And we're now faced with Walmart, which you studied, Amazon. These are super stores and super warehouses, no longer the super factories that used to exist. They're now mostly in China, Mexico, Vietnam, Bangladesh, and other parts of the global south. So how does this affect the ability of workers to organize? That we're basically dealing with the reception and distribution or warehousing of goods made elsewhere.
Yeah, well, lots of manufacturing, of course, has gone abroad. It's a totally integrated system with the big container ships, where we're seeing that now with the problems in the supply chain. But many of these jobs that like Amazon, for example, or a large retailer, or Starbucks, these quote retail or distributional jobs are today they resemble factory work of the past quite a bit. Amazon, these distribution centers have 2,000, 3,000 workers. They're blue collar and industrial kind of jobs. They and the same motivations that led to the great labor upsurges of the 19th century, the 30s, and later on the 60s. They're present at these and all these large retailers and distribution systems. So I would also make the point that while one of the Starbucks, any given Starbucks that shuts down or could be closed by the management, it doesn't affect the rest of the company. But a distribution center that Amazon has, these, reflect, have an impact on a whole area. And so, they're kind of the, as I put it, the commanding heights of American capitalism has shifted from the steel mills and the auto plants to the distribution centers and the great retailers.
All right, what you think about all that?
Well, because I mean, from what I'm gathering, like they're saying, like the unionization of Starbucks, like, I mean, they felt like that was a necessity, or like I'm not really sure what kind of infrastructure that's building for Starbucks, or if it's weakening it, or
they're not trying to look at it from a Starbucks point of view. They're talking about unions in general, kind of like trying to come back, workers' rights, because the unions have been stomped out across the country, and basically they're saying that one little Starbucks successfully unionized recently, and it's been in the news. And it's not really a big deal, but because it happened, they're saying that this could spread across the country, and that's what makes it a big deal.
Well, honestly, I mean, I feel like, when it helps the people, it helps the business. Like, I mean, when the people benefit, the business gonna benefit, because I mean, they're not gonna do anything that's gonna, like, take them out of a profit stance. And I mean, if that protection for the people, it helps. I mean, because it's gonna keep people in the jobs. Like, it's gonna find ways. Now, over time, I mean, the beginning of it, a lot of times the company may not feel the effects, and sometimes they try to figure out how to get their profit margins to grow. But I think any business, when the people are actually growing or being able to have a confidence in the business itself, that helps the company overall. So that's why but either way,
I agree. But the corporate model that we have is anti-unions, so that they can pay people as little as they can, not give them health insurance, not have no kind of like in Texas, it's a right to work state. They can fire you at any given minute and without even giving you a reason,
Yeah, and I think a lot of that stuff is misguided because I think either side should have the right to go and come as they please, but at the same time, when a company is able to, look past the needs of the people that they're looking to be on time and fulfill a job that that interacts with their people that's interacting with your customers, and them, because I mean, I'm sure honestly, there shouldn't be a need for unions if companies had the true what's the integrity that they should stand by, and understand that, I mean, people, the people need to have some stability as well, just like
I agree with
as
you.
well. So I mean, the whole union thing should not have to exist.
It shouldn't have to, but power needs a balance.
Yeah,
it's
of
got
course.
that's how we got the 5-day work week in the first place. That's how we got the 40-hour work week. That's how we got it keep from the kids being, because without laborers unions, they be paying everybody $213, and they be hiring children and shit, and they would be working people 24 hours a day without no breaks.
Yeah, no, I mean I get it. I mean, like I said, I mean, in cases like that, I mean, yeah, definitely need a mediator to to negotiate all of these things. But like, I mean, that's one of the biggest falls I think in this country is when they started to do that, and it was, I really feel like, I mean, our government overall does not care about the people. I mean, our Constitution is just words on a piece of paper. It's not something that they withhold dearly like it was in the past. So I mean, since the 80s, things just totally like started just falling apart because our government allowed a lot of these things that was a standard to start just like giving the corporations the power to do whatever the hell they want, which is just not cool. I mean, everybody needs some form of insurance, unless they're gonna make it where hospitals or or seeing a doctor is cheap, or even when somebody has spent 20, 30, 40 years in that business, and they still gonna have to figure out where they're gonna just get the next can of peas from. Like that's ridiculous. Like no employee should have that type of worry, especially when you have corporations that's like some of the largest in the world, in this country.
Yeah, we need to check some kind of way. We have to check them some kind of way.
Yep.
I'm not gonna stay on much longer. I wonder if I get in trouble for playing this Joe Rogan clip.
If I encroach on you and I'm sophisticated about it, I'm going to encroach 2 millimeters.
That's my boy. That's Peterson.
I just don't understand how it gets to the point where
things get to terrible places one tiny step at a time. If I encroach on you and I'm sophisticated about it, I'm going to encroach 2 millimeters. I'm going to encroach right to the point where you start to protest. Then I'm going to stop. Then I'm going to wait. Then you're going to calm down. Then I'm going to encroach again, right to the point where you protest. Then I'm going to stop. Then I'm going to wait. And I'm just going to do that forever. And before you know it, you're going to be back 3 miles from where you started, and you'll have done it one step at a time. And then you'll go, oh, how'd I get here? And the answer was, well, I pushed you a little farther than you should have gone, and you agreed. And so then I pushed you a little farther than you should have gone again, and you agreed. And if anybody's interested in this sort of process, and this is a horrifying book, if you want to read about how this process works, you can read a book called Ordinary Men by Robert Browning.
I just don't understand how it gets to the point where
things get to terrible places.
I'm here. My bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. Yep, that sounds like our government again. But I think this guy, he's from Canada.
Yeah.
Peterson. I forget his first name. But however, he's been like an advocate, like somebody who, speaks for the people. For many years now, and it's just like, is it Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and
I be checking him out.
A lot of common sense shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I be checking him out. He says it sounds like the liberal left.
Who said that?
Doc.
Oh, okay. What's up, Doc? Yeah, man. I hate to be the one to be the dead horse, but like in a lot of cases, like when we're getting encroached on, the people who in a lot of cases, especially black people, of course white people as well, but like we trust, like there's some of the best con artists ever. You know, like, you know, conservatives always get this whole thing of, you know, the stigma that, you know, they don't really care about the people. But I mean, shit, somebody's got to stand for the government so it doesn't fall. And I think in most cases, that's the stance that they have to take, because like if they was to take the same stance that, you know, the liberal side or the Democratic side takes, we you know, we'll be in bigger trouble than we're in now.
I'm here. I had to get a
Yeah.
fork.
I think a lot of times the conservatives have saved our lives in so many different ways where they get pinned to be the bad guys, but like somebody has to you know, draw the line somewhere. And like I said, I mean, you know, I'm not forgetting the whole bird, you know, idea, but like if there wasn't that that polarity, like we would be up shit's creek.
Yeah, well, I think the whole government is on the right. I don't think we have a left here. I don't think we have real liberals. We got this neoliberal stuff.
Shit, that's further right than.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, you said
I'm saying we don't have a left.
We don't have a left at all.
Yeah, I'm saying we don't have a left at all.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, if they're that far right, I mean, somebody has to. If somebody's standing at an opposition, I guess what we consider the right would be more left. Because I mean, they're holding different positions. They're not, you know.
And it's always way more complicated than left and right, anyways.
Yeah.
That's a oversimplification.
Yeah, that's an idea that we, you know, try to use, but I don't know, man. But I mean, just think of where we would be if we didn't have a lot of these conservatives. Because I mean, just like they're saying, like that one guy that your boy was talking about earlier, that you know he's you know said to be a Democrat, but you know, no, he's really a conservative. Okay, well, you know what? We really need that kind of balance. You know, that's something that needs to happen from that side. And you know, I never really look at any one person of truly, because I mean, any one person who's like, if they don't have any balance, like you're looking for them to you know, like do something totally extreme. You know, you gotta have everybody has to have some kind of balance, but
yeah,
I can only imagine where we would be if we, you know, if you know the term you're using, the neoliberals, if everybody went right down that road and didn't try to block any of these things that was going on, like how fast, you know, things would have been over with already.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like they turning up the speed dial on that shit.
I think that's a part of the program.
They're rushing towards the end.
You know, I mean, we've been so used to, you know, like especially you know, like we're probably the last real generation to experience what, you know, and of course at a young age, because I mean, a lot of those changes were being made as we were kids growing up, and we're at a point now to where, like, we really, I guess, could make a change, and you know, yeah, you know, you know, having these strikes, you know, these getting out in the street and protesting and this, that, and the other makes some noise, but we're not really making any change. And you know, that's because of like what Peterson was saying. You know, they encroach, you step up or whatever, and then you allow them to push you back, where they're still gaining their ground slowly, with, you know, without you really realizing you know, how far back you're getting set back every time you make an agreement or some kind of, you know, like every time you negotiate with these people, you're still getting pushed back. So
I can't help but to think of like Star Wars and Darth Vader and I don't know, you know, the Third Reich. These big, huge companies.
well, I think a lot of that stuff that happens in movies speaks to what we're actually dealing with, whether we have dealt with it or it's just such a pattern in our lives to where that's something that keeps happening over and over and over and over again. To where, like I said, I mean, we get to a point to like, how do we end up here?
Yeah.
But I think those movies are very symbolic of things that we deal with day to day.
So this says what corporations don't tell you. The median union worker earns 19% more. Median weekly union worker earnings 1,144. Median weekly non-union worker earning is 958. Adjusted for education, occupation, and experience, union workers earn 13% more on average. Union workers are more likely to have health insurance, paid sick days, and paid vacation days, and retirement benefits. Unions raise wages for women and reduce racial wage gaps.
Yep, that doesn't get spoken about very often, but I mean, I can see that being more than likely. You know what I'm saying? Like, you actually have an advocate, somebody who can speak up. Because I mean, if you think about every individual trying to negotiate that, like it'll be such an up and down scale of what, you know, what actually happens in that one company, which is what we see for the most part. Each individual, they're negotiating their stance when they go, and like they wonder why, you know, like a lot of women, they're like, why do they, you know, end up being the least paid? And that's because of, you know, you're negotiating your own stance. Where like a guy come in, you know, especially let's say like a white guy that's like, you know, may see it from a different standpoint, and he goes for the gusto, like he asked for $250,000 for, you know, the position he's going in for, and then the woman come in and, you know, because, you know, I can't really give a good reason, you know, why they may take the stance they do, but they think that going in just so they can get the job, they'll take 125 or 150. And
yeah, well, our society is patriarchal. It pays the women less, like across the board. Doc says it's almost all left, especially compared to even 10 years ago. If you mean neoliberal, I agree with you. And then he says the right has slowly been conceding points and ground to the left, and now the whole line has changed. So even the Republican Party is far left of its policies. No, I can't agree with you on that.
Well, I think I understand what he's saying, because that's kind of the description I was trying to give with the you know, when you give the idea of like the liberals being more neoliberal, and you know, because I mean that's kind of that same effect of, you know, okay, drawing a line, you know, like you can only fight from a, you know, from a certain distance. So in order for you to even have a fight, you have had to, you know, if they've drawn the line to a certain extent, you have to come to that line or try to cross that line themselves. So I think, you know, I kind of get what he's saying.
If it means neoliberal, I mean, I agree, but actual like left or actual liberal, I disagree. We're very right, and we've been moving more and more to the right, actually.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to be. I mean, I mean, you know, I think a lot of people have been fooled to really think that this, you know, I mean, because now the country is probably more of a Democratic state than a Republican state. But, you know, I mean, it's a republic. It's supposed to be built for the people, where we're getting to a point where the country is, you know, has become something that nobody, like, I mean, our grandparents would probably be shocked to see where we are right now. Because, I mean, this is supposed to be a republic. I mean, that's what's in the Constitution. There's nothing in the Constitution that says democracy.
And I agree with you, but it depends on what topic we're talking about too, though, because the grandparents would definitely be appalled. But, you know, if you look at it through socially, you know, I would say the society is more left or whatever, liberal, because of like LGBTQ and stuff like that, tattoos and piercings and so forth and so on. Because I don't think that would be considered conservative.
No.
But economically, we're pushing more and more to the right, being conservative, being like, don't fuck off the homeless people, fuck Medicare for all, you know, build yourself up by your bootstraps. You know, I did it, so you do it too. Economically, I would say we're very, very conservative as a country. But that's what I say, though. It's all so much more complicated than left, right, or conservative and liberal, you know? It's so much more complicated than that. You there?
Yeah, man. I thought I had my last alarm go off already, but I guess not. But you know, the thing is that, I mean, do we want a more liberal state, or do we want it to be more conservative?
Well, it depends on, like I say, it depends on what we're talking about. If we're talking about socially, you know, I would like things to be a bit more conservative. You know, I think some of the stuff we see on TV and some of the crazy stuff we see walking around the city is a little too liberal. But economically, I'd like to see us more liberal. I would say that we're too conservative economically as a nation. But that's why I say it's complicated. You know, it's no simple thing. You know, how conservative should you be, or how liberal should you be? There should be a balance, right? You know, even a conservative, you know, is going to be liberal about certain things, even some economic things.
Well, you know, that's the thing. I you know, I believe in balance, but you know, if we were really concerned, like anytime any corporation, because I mean, I'm sure we both agree that our corporations have more say, or the ability to control more of this government than our politicians. And you know, because of the power, their money that is able to be used to, you know, position them in the way that they want. But I think more on the, you know, if we looked at it truly in the Republican form, like, I mean, if laws actually protected the people the way it's supposed to, regardless of what these corporations do, the government or the politicians within our government are gonna, we wouldn't need, you know, all of these different, because I mean, these subsidies would actually benefit the people. The monies that our government, our tax dollars are actually meant to be used for, if they went to the people where it really benefited us, nobody would care about the left or the right. Like, you know, none of that stuff would really matter. We wouldn't need a socialist state where we have to give up different, you know, resources, you know, trying to figure out how to distribute these different resources because everything is already set and, you know, through laws that allow, you know, the people to be good, the businesses to be good, and so on and so forth. But it's gotten so jaded over the years to where, you know, it's just everybody out for themselves, you know, and we, you know, us having the least amount of power, our word means nothing in most cases.
Doc says liberals waste money, government waste money, liberal governments almost always go bankrupt. You have to remember, Doc, that there's two wings on the bird, bro. You know what I'm saying? And even in other countries.
Well, yeah, but I mean, see, one of the biggest, countries that don't fall usually have a standard on their money. And when, you know, ever since we've had fiat currency in this country, that's where our biggest fail came in, because there's no true balance to what our money is truly worth. Like it's what's the word? You know, it's fully like imagined. Like, you know, you can change the value. You know, you have one instrument of exchange, but at the same time, you know, the values change every so often because of, you know, the new creation of money, which is, you know, what we call fiat. I mean, if there's no true standard in value, that's where there's going to always be a fail. So yeah, I mean, countries who still, you know, follow the whole gold standard, silver standard, and things like that, you know, and basing it on that mineral, because even if it was based totally on like our oil production, something has to be able to sustain and like hold that value so that we have something to truly go on. Like, I mean, at this point, they're saying our dollar is worth 15 cents now, where it was a full dollar in the 70s. So it's because of what we've allowed, and it was a Democratic president that allowed this thing to happen with the you know, to take the gold standard away. So I mean, there's a lot of effects that come from, you know, like what he's saying has a lot of truth to it. If you really look at, you know, who was in power and who, you know, made these things even possible, because like I said, you have to have a standard, and something that you won't go below, something that you will hold true to. And when you don't have those things in place, yeah, it's going to go haywire.
Yeah, I just think that a lot of us have been brainwashed on that socialism type thing, you know, communism, as a result of like the you know, the Cold War with Russia and the competition of capitalism versus communism in the world and all of this. You
Well, I
know,
mean,
and we've been fed this since we were kids, and we really don't even understand it at all. Like Marxism and the in the universities, the professors get in trouble for prescribing Marx books.
Well, I mean, if you really think about it, these are theories and ideas in which to explain a certain style or you know, to explain away some of these things that are actually happening. So, I mean, you know, whether it's brainwashed or not, these are things that actually have affected us as a people, you know, regardless of what side you're on, what you believe, and, you know, how you think things should be done. These are things that actually have affected us. And whether, you know, you know, because like I was saying earlier, you know, the socialism, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing if it's positioned properly. But when, you know, you have corporations that, you know, are making shit 3,000% and they don't want to show it to the people who has helped them create it, you know, or to sustain, you know, to gain that type of power, you know, that's a failure too. So I mean, if somebody's, you know, just asking for $1 or $2, you know, or at least an adjustment as the inflation is happening, so that we can see the same growth or at least be able to keep a plateau of things that you can afford, you know, based on the, you know, like if there was a true balance with how they're handling the monies, because they can raise prices on everything and still pay you, you know, the inflation change. So like the businesses can make their prices difference based on the inflation, but they won't make the hourly wages or salaries balance out.
And that's perfect example of how, because we're talking about social systems when we're talking about socialism, communism, capitalism, right? So United States, the West, they chose capitalism. And so, but that also shows that regardless of which system you choose, it could be, it's fallible or whatever. Like it could, for the capitalism, it could turn into an oligarchy, and inflation happens, runaway inflation happens, and the people starve. You know, it's just the same thing with the with socialism turning into communism, and you know, the people just taking all the money from the people, and runaway inflation, and the people starve. So like what I'm saying is that capitalism has its place and socialism does too, and there has to be some kind of balance with the two for a country to be successful. And the other point I really want people to understand is when you look at Venezuela, or you look at Cuba, whatever countries you want to call as socialist countries, and then you say that they fail or they waste money or whatever, you have to understand what's been happening in a geopolitical sense. See, ever since the Cold War, the United States wants to make sure any country that looks like they're a socialist country, they want them to appear unsuccessful, because it's like a propaganda machine. It's all about the perception of the people. If they see this country socialism working in other countries, then they might want to try it here, and they don't want that. So they want to make sure that, especially the closer countries like in Central America, South America, the Caribbean, any countries that's close to the United States, they do not want them to have Venezuela. They do not want them to have successful socialist programs, because they don't want to have examples of that in the world, so that people won't gravitate to it.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you that that is happening as we speak. But you know, to me, what I think would be like a country like America that has so much power, so much money that comes through, that, you know, if they actually, like, socialism would be being fair with the dollar. Like, you know, like I said, when there is an inflation, that everybody gets to have that change. You get to see it within, you know, not just the company, the price is going up, but you also get to see it when, you know, people's salaries go up just based on the change of inflation. So that would be a true socialist way to do things, where it would be fair, and it's not taken away from these corporations that are, you know, like, they're steadily seeing their growth, but then the people have to be at a decline. There's, you know, like a minimum wage, you know, like that should be unheard of. What, you know, we should consider what a minimum wage. I mean, you have to have it because of greed. You know, what these corporations, like, whatever they can get away with, they will. But you know, that's where our government is supposed to stand in and say, well, no, this is no, you need to pay these people based on what because I mean honestly, like inflation is is a crazy tax. It's like it shouldn't make like if things are fair, like things should actually get cheaper as time goes on because the use of it, the you know having the people who supply it, yeah, we have some crazy storm where we there's the supply is shorter, but that's usually not the case. We have an abundance of supply, the prices go up, but then it doesn't reflect to where the people who are working at the bread company can even afford the bread that they help make. It's insane.
It's insane, and it's not sustainable, and it can't go on like this forever.
No, it's not. I mean, like I said, I mean, honestly, I really feel like they're purposely trying to, because I mean, there's a new paradigm that they're trying to bring in, and that's something that this whole, them knowing that they're having a loss of power instead of allowing someone else to come in and take over and really make this country what it's capable of being. No, they're going to find another way to try to divert that. So it's whether it was the Mexicans, the Asians, blacks, whoever who would be able to turn this thing around, let it be. Like all these things where there are, because I mean, if you can't see that they're purposely doing this, you're not looking. You're not really paying attention to what's happening. We can keep asking why, but I mean, it's written on the wall. Like, I mean, we just looked at Pelosi. A lot of people love Pelosi, but Pelosi is probably one of the first ones to kick you in the ass.
She crooked as fuck. They all the same. They all just sitting there, getting fat as fuck, and their friends and family getting fat as fuck. And that's really what it's about. It's the caste system. It's the elites. It's like, you guys will never be one of us, So y'all, use your little vote or whatever it is, my family.
Look what they did to Trump, though. I'm sorry, but like, all right, look what they did to Trump, man. Like he's one of the, like, I can't say uber rich, but he's one of these rich people, billionaires. Got money all over the place. But as soon as he starts trying to do something that would actually help the people, they demonized him. They did everything within the media to make him into something that, he may not actually be. But I mean, for somebody whose policies actually was built to help the people more, like they did everything they could to get him out of there. Like they pulled a retired somebody who should be sipping Mai Tais on the beach somewhere to bring him in to be a president because, like, it was gonna mess up all of their plans. Like, people need to really see what's really happening here, because the media, you talking about propaganda, I mean, they keep ruining all of the people that would do something to turn things around. They're saying America first. I mean, yeah, we should see America first. We shouldn't be worrying about everybody else. And like him setting embargoes and this, that, and the other, they saying that hurt it. But no, when they were able to really look back at it and see, it's like, yeah, China was fucking us and we were allowing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all sorts of things that they try to say was so horrible, but in the long run, they saw where it was more of a benefit for America than a harm. And then, they couldn't really say much about it because there was too much truth in it. But they still demonize this guy. And I mean, like I said, I mean, we're still looking at one bird, but at the same time, there's one side that's actually trying to, help, like grow America itself, that really cares about America, in my opinion. And I don't think that's just my opinion. I think that, like I said, I don't know none of these people personally. I don't know, if who's more racist. I mean, I have my ideas, and I might be biased, I guess. But like I said, I don't know none of them personally to try to say that who I like the more. But when you really look at policy and what type of actions that people are making, I mean, it's written on the wall. It's painted. It's engraved in the wall.
Yeah. That's why it drives me crazy when I just be saying common sense and it just seems like nobody can see it. It's like, ugh.
Now it's being seen. I mean, that's why there's so many pissed off people on the Republican side, because I mean, there's some people that that was that might be more affected and see it more, because I mean, the country was built on having a certain amount of freedom. Yeah, there's always going to be employers and employees, but overall, I mean, it was a country where somebody could if you want a business and want to run your business, you can and you should. But even there's protections for people who just want to be employees. There's some people who actually promote and like want to see those type of things, but there's also those who hated America from the beginning and wanted to, have it more like a oligarchy, or like, I mean, they accuse Trump of being an authoritarian or trying to be an authoritarian, but I see more actions from what we consider the left to be more authoritarian, based on their,
I agree. That's the neoliberal shit, authoritarian shit. Is totally. He said Pelosi spent 4 years spearheading a coup, and 45 proved that the U.S. can do well for itself and still help out the world. All they cared about was mean tweets.
Yeah,
Hey,
let's
watch a little bit of this because this is so interesting. This is it's from this Instagram page. It's called History Photographed, and this is a colorized clips from 1896. Check it out. This is Geneva. So it's gonna be another one from London, one from Lyon, and one from New York. I'm gonna flip through them. This dude walking around a big ass horn. Cows walking on the street with the people. I bet you it's poop everywhere. All right, check this out. This is London, 1896. The mustaches everybody wore back then. Big ass stash. They got the 70s porn star stash. Oh, okay, this looks like London. I thought the other one was supposed to be London. People walking around. You got the horse pulled wagons. I really like this kind of stuff. Look at the trolleys. No cars. 1896. Because when you think about it, that really wasn't that long ago.
No.
Yeah, that stuff is super interesting to me. The candid history stuff. This picture of Marilyn Monroe, I keep looking at her. She must have been young as fuck in this picture. I had the perky chichas. And Betty White was really pretty when she was young. Look. Can you see that picture?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of small, but and, I'm also driving too.
Oh, my bad. I'm gonna stop making you look at pictures then.
Nah, but I saw the picture on the left.
Yeah, that was Betty White.
But look, I don't. I have to ask, man. I mean, do you think that like there's because based on some of the history, known history, like a bunch of like after World War II, when they knocked Adolf Hitler out of position, and like they brought a bunch of Nazi people from Germany to America to work here, and like there's a whole generation of people that came here that hated America, or at least based on uh what we can understand, or at least what we believe. A bunch of people that hated America, that had a lot of control, like that's within our government now, and like
well, what I think people really have to understand is going back to then, you had these big major, especially the banks beforehand, even beforehand. But at this time, you still had like what was it, the beginnings of the oil companies and shit. So these are multinational corporations. They don't give a damn about United States, Russia, or whatever. They don't give a damn about none of that shit. Ford supported the Nazis. He supported Hitler. Chrysler did too, I want to say. But, like I say, it's not, we're the ones caught up on this national pride bullshit. They've moved on from that shit 100+ years ago.
Is it really bullshit though? I mean, like we should we not, like you have a home. I mean, are you supposed to act as if the rest of the world is, more important than where you live?
Yeah, we love our home. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is what rights you get based on where you were born is bullshit. And they use these borders to persecute these people or that people, or give privileges to these people or those people. It's not a real thing. A lot of these borders are fake as fuck.
I feel what you're saying, but I think that's good for certain conversations. But when it comes down to like just like, all right, we, I think if the world could and would be fair to each country, or took it as if Earth was just one place and everything kind of could work in harmony. Yeah, I mean that would be great, but these borders, like exist mainly like, all right, these different, we have continents that are separated. Like I think every continent could live on its own without another, for the most part. There's some things, yeah, you might, have trade for this, that, or the third, but overall, like everybody is looking out for themselves. So that's what create these borders. So
no, most of these borders were created out of war related to like colonization and territory, being conquered. The conqueror makes these borders.
Well, no, I mean a lot of these before, like these periods. I mean there were borders. I mean, tribes. Like different countries existed before all of what Because I mean, I guess there's been wars since the beginning of time, I'm assuming. But however, I mean, you can't really just say like none of that stuff existed when everybody's territorial to some extent. You know, this is mine, this, that, and the other, and they, you know, they'll charge based on it. Like nobody's gonna give you a house rent free. No, this is mine, and I deserve this for you to stay here monthly. I mean, it's
But see, the governments don't. It's really the corporations. So that's why I gotta keep saying the corporations don't give a damn about the borders. They respect the borders. Like, okay, well, that's how they go and steal people's resources. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that live in that area should have the rights to those resources, right? But the Nike don't. I mean, Nestle don't see it that way. They go over there and take the water and then they sell it to us over here or whatever the hell. That's not respecting their borders.
well, no, I mean, see, and that's now see, I don't agree with like you know somebody going to another country and you know taking resources and distributing the way that they want to. Because like I said, I'm all for fair trade, you know, but you know, because I mean, if we didn't you know respect boundaries, and if you know these boundaries weren't set, then you know it will be a free for all for everyone, and there'll be no order anywhere. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
and I agree with you, but what I'm saying is the United States don't give a damn about those borders. The United States corporations, the China corporations, the Russian corporations, and then they still have they have their government's military to back up the corporations so that they can go over there and steal the resources. And you're not gonna say shit, or we're gonna blow your whole shit to the fucking non-existent.
Well, but see, but I mean that's one of the things that you know America, you know, United States, and you know its allies have you know done in recent history, but you know, however, like if they if America wasn't trying to go steal, because I mean they would, I guess they would have lost power in different places if they hadn't done that. Which I'm not a, you know, I look, I feel like it should be fair. China, that I, you know, for what I know of, they haven't been just going to, you know, like actually like strong arming. No, they've been making deals with these different countries, and that's
It's
where
the
they've
United
gotten their growth
States
from.
companies that be strong arming motherfuckers in the UK,
Yeah,
France.
I mean, China has been just some fucking awesome negotiators from what I can see, to where like
That's
you
what I'm
know,
hearing too.
but at the same
But
time, I mean, they're
they're
taking
shady
they
too,
are
though.
taking advantage, of the situation that's
Yes, they're
happening.
shady as fuck. They just know
Yeah,
how to talk to people and come at people because they still kind of respect people, or at least they appear to. The United
uh,
States don't appear to respect nobody.
yeah,
Let me
nah,
read his
and
comments. He says, "We all can agree on one point, though. The government sucks at spending money. They spend $2 for every $1 that will be spent on the same private sector job resource at least." I disagree, and I'm going to give you a point. And he says, trivia, Betty White was born in 1922, and pre-sliced bread became largely available in 1928. She is literally older than sliced bread. That's funny. And his last one is fertile soil. I guess something having to do with what we were saying. But the thing about the government, look at the postal service. I be mentioning that all the time. They're extremely efficient. You know what I'm saying? There are government let's say entities that are very efficient with money. The
guns
government,
and missiles and this, that, and the third.
they're
Oh
efficient when they want
hell,
to be. It's just that you
why is
have
this
these
thing still going off?
it's just that we have this bloated ass administration where all the money goes to, in a lot of, and I agree, most of the government programs, government contracts be giveaways. That's the reason why they mismanage. It just appears that they're mismanaging the money. It's really just corruption. But when they want to be really good with the money, they can be. And the postal service is an example.
I don't know why this thing. It's the same alarm that keeps going off, and I tell it to stop, but it's still every so often still going off. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
no.
have to wrap it.
What I was saying, about China, because I mean, there's war going on right now. Like, I mean, whether you see guns blaring, missiles going off, and things like that, a lot of us, are still experiencing a war, and like I said, I mean, if we were more fair as just human beings, no matter what, like, because China and Africa is crazy, you know what I'm saying? But they're going to places where, they don't really have a true infrastructure. Hadn't seen a lot of things be done the way that, like America and China are able to do with, like, within a small period of time. Like, so the negotiations are totally unfair, and they're not allowing the people of that land to be able to prosper along with them. Like, that's where you know you know there's a lot of failure. So like I said, America, like, they might strong arm, but then they end up giving away, like, all these things that they went to war to fight for. They still end up giving it away to countries that would be adverse to some extent. So I mean, I don't get it. Like, that's why, like, a lot of this stuff has to be set up. Like, like, we're being set up to fail.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I'm getting tired, bro. Probably gonna wrap it.
Yeah. Well,
Where you
I
at?
just woke. Where am I?
Yeah.
I'm in Georgia, heading toward. Well, I'm heading towards Louisiana, but I'll be in Alabama soon. But yeah, I'm trying to get back to the house after I make this delivery in Louisiana. I'm just gonna scoot on to the house from there. I'm not gonna try to pick up another load because it'll probably put me off schedule.
So you said you're gonna drop a load off in Lafayette?
No, what? No, it's in Louisiana. Actually, I'm gonna be, like, in the Gonzales area.
Yeah, I have no idea where that is.
Baton Rouge. That's on the river road. Like, it's probably 30 miles from Baton Rouge.
This dude got a
Once
video.
I deliver this to the.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Now, I said, once I deliver this, I'm free. I'm going to the house, get pick up my son and spend some time at home.
I think this is the one. And this video went viral.
Just got to Miami.
We don't need the sound. But that's right, you driving. Anyways, I'm finna wrap it.
All right, man.
Yeah, thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for joining. He said, Postal Service is a private company backed by the government. Excuse me, a government-owned company operated as a private company that loses money every year. There's a whole story behind all of that.
It's a strategy.
They've been trying to. It seems like they've been trying to put the postal service out of business because they want it to be private. That's what it is. They want everybody to have to pay to get their mail. They don't want no government mail system. So they've been like defunding the postal service for years and years and years. They've been, and the postal service has still been able to make it, even though they've been undercutting them.
Well, yeah, I mean that goes to that whole idea of like trying to push the union out. Like that's like one of their purposes. Like they want it privatized so that they don't owe, like they can, like they can still get the same kind of service without having to pay for people's retirements and medical and all these other things, which is like another way to rob the people.
Yep. Because they don't want no companies. They want everything private so that they can fuck everybody. So we have no social programs.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about some of these people that what you call the sovereign citizens and the separation of public and private, like a lot of those codes will kind of, you could, if you understand it from that perspective, you'll understand more of what they've been trying to do to separate the, because anything that's public, that's for the people. And, honestly, like our tax dollars, because I mean, you got to think about it. We getting robbed
Left and right.
We don't, we don't.
We should have all kinds of programs. We should have not just our mail coming for free or just stamps. The stamps is just the cost of them doing business. It's not supposed to be a profit model. That's the problem. They don't want no companies that don't have profit models.
Yeah, I mean, if it was up to the government, the UPS would be bringing your mail. FedEx,
and you would be paying.
Yeah. Which because honestly, like, buying the envelope, buying the stamps, I mean, that's supposed to be paying for it, but that's not good enough for some people. Like they're, I don't know.
They're gonna make you pay a lot more so they can have profit model in that shit.
Which is really un-American and American at the same time.
Somehow that works too. That fucking works. America is an oxymoron. The land of the free. The Constitution was all man should be created equal. At the same time, they had slaves. Like,
well, I mean, some people fought more than others.
Yeah.
Or took the upper hand at, when they had a chance, because it's not like the slaves were any weaker. It was just that before some things were really even known to them, what was going on.
Yeah, man, they make up the rules and then they change them right in the middle of the thing, and like you're gonna lose regardless. Like it wasn't fair from jump. I saw a lot of videos from the tornadoes. People crazy as hell for fucking videoing them damn tornadoes, man. Because what kills you in tornadoes is flying debris, so you're not gonna see that fucking shit coming. No telling what the fuck it's gonna be. It's gonna fucking come and hit your ass.
Dude, years ago, I don't know, this was years ago, but somebody was trying to report on a hurricane, and they're in the middle of the storm and this, that, and the other, which, I know they got storm chasers and shit like that, but this motherfucker got slapped in the face with a stop sign. I mean, they was on screen and then they were gone.
I saw that video. I saw that. It had me laughing. I saw that video.
Yeah, take your stupid ass home, man. Like, you better. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're out there in the damn tornado. It's coming. These damn videos be so random. The internet is random. Don't know what's happening there. I can't show that on the internet. Ratchetness.
I want to see that movie. That Will Smith got out now. Damn, I can't even think. The Venus and Serena's.
Yeah, everybody's talking about it. They said he did a good job in it.
Yeah, I want to see that. Might get a chance to actually see it this week coming up.
I want to see the Star Wars movie. Yeah, I don't know if it's out yet, but I'm definitely gonna see that this Christmas break. I've been waiting for that.
Yeah,
not Star Wars. I'm sorry. Not Star Wars. The Matrix, the new Matrix.
There's a new Matrix movie.
Yeah.
All right, I'm scared.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with the story. The story should be over. So I'm very curious.
Well, I mean, a movie that was meant to be a trilogy, and now there's a fourth one. Like that to me, like I don't like. What really else needs to be said?
Yeah, that's why I don't know what they could do with the story, but I want to see.
And what? Because I mean, there's gonna be. I can just based on how I'm seeing movies going these days. Like there's gonna be a heightened like symbolism alert. Like there's like it. Of course, I don't know. I haven't seen it. I didn't even know it existed. But just a lot of things are so telling. If you understand the world and you've been paying attention to the world, like how many gay characters are there gonna be in it? Like that's what I start asking myself to, because they're usually like. I just feel like they're gonna be promoting some shit that is almost unnecessary. Might be a good story. I don't know, but
I'm curious as hell. I don't know where they could go with the story, and they spent a bunch of money on it. They got Keanu back in trilogy. Trinity, she's in it too.
Okay. No Jada.
No Jada. Not that I know of.
Just think if Will Smith actually would have taken that part.
Yep, he said he passed up on it.
I know.
I think it would have. I think it would have been because see the actor, like the way that movie was written, the person who played Neo didn't have to do a bunch of acting. Like he's not really the best actor. I ain't gonna lie.
No, far from it.
But he was so perfect, and that movie was like. It launched his career a lot too. Like,
well, the story itself, I mean, is amazing. So, I mean, like, there doesn't have to be any real, like, deep down acting because I mean, the story by itself is awesome. Like, you could probably read the book and be like enamored to where, like, oh my God, it's some crazy shit. But I mean, I don't really see where you really needed to be that great of an actor, but
not at all.
What has Keanu Reeves done since then?
That's why he's done a bunch of movies. He's good at picking movies. Look at John Wick. That shit is crazy. I don't even like the John Wick.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but people love that shit. Let's watch a couple of clips from it. I didn't know you didn't know it was out. Wait, not this. I thought it was gonna show a scene. Maybe it will show the scene.
Where are we? Tokyo. A moving portal makes it harder to track us. Seeker's the best of them.
Portal's clean. We do no shadows.
I don't remember this. We don't have to run to phone booths anymore either.
Doors on your right.
set and setting,
Burn.
right?
Oh, no.
It's all about set and setting.
After our first contact went so badly, we thought elements from your past might help ease you into the present.
Nothing comforts anxiety like little nostalgia.
Yeah,
You can't see it.
Devil's Advocate was a
We're all
badass
trapped
movie
inside
too.
these strange repeating loops.
But that was before that.
Billions of people just living out their lives.
Oblivious.
But this is the moment for you to show us what is real. I remember this.
So deja vu. And yet it's obviously all wrong. Maybe this isn't the story we think it is.
They taught you good. Made you believe their world was all you deserved. But some part of you knew that was a lie. Some part of you remembered what was real.
It's so easy to forget how much noise the Matrix pumps into your head. Something else makes the same kind of noise. War.
What happens to Neo? The most important choice in Neo's life. It's not his to make.
She believed in me. It's my turn to believe in her.
Part of me feels like I have been waiting my whole life for you.
If you want to see Trinity again, Sniper!
I saw this in a dream.
I ain't gonna lie, they got my interest.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, look, it looks good. I gotta see it.
I still know Kung Fu.
12/22. Okay, I was waiting for that date.
Yeah,
12/22.
I might actually go see it the first day because like I'll be off that whole week.
Yeah. That give me something to do. I don't know who I'm gonna go with, but find somebody I want to go see it. Go by myself.
Well, that's the thing, cause see, I don't know if Patrick. Well, cause see, he hadn't seen any of the others that I know of. Even though I feel like that's an important film for him to see, but you know, me being around to be able to be like, hey, come on, let's watch this. But he listened to a lot of the action, you know, action movies and stuff. So, but I don't know. I'm definitely gonna have to go, even if I go by myself. Like,
Yeah. Curtis said, "I want to see the one with butt." What are you talking about, bro? I want to see the one with butt, bro. What are you talking about, bro? You gotta explain that, bro. Pause, bro.
yeah, me too. Like, who hurt you? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, man. Shit, I'm finna wrap it. It's 2:30. I picked up a shift tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, he said the booty shaking videos earlier. Oh, okay. I get it now. Because I was showing Instagram.
Oh, okay. And the Me Too, I guess, is that he got to see that the Matrix.
Yeah. It's plenty of butts on Instagram, bro. So there's no shortage of butts. I really be trying to clean my timeline up. My Twitter is the one I wouldn't be able to scroll on here.
You know what? I had a Twitter, but like it never really interests me that much. Like I don't know. I didn't really get into Twitter so much, and Instagram. I mean, I might be a fuddy duddy to some, probably a fuddy duddy to some people because like just never got into Instagram. I'm still, and you know what? I don't even go on my Facebook that much anymore. I've been on the Unite the 99. Like that's more my, type of.
What is that?
I like to see positivity. I've sent you stuff from there quite a few times, but Unite the 99 is my guy Billy Carson. Like he's on that. Like he does a lot of history stuff. Like he's got a whole series of stuff where he's going to Egypt and going into pyramids that hadn't been opened for decades, like 30 years, 25, 30 years that hadn't been explored. And he's going in and giving new perspective and but he has forbidden knowledge. And I think I sent you something where he's doing investment in his company and stuff, but where you can get in from the ground up. Like I got a bunch of shares at $1 a share, and his evaluation is already higher than what I was able to buy the shares at. But either way, that's his social media that he started. Unite the 99. Like the 1% is pretty much taking control of everything else, and this is a place where the other 99% can come and have just as much power as the 1%. Is his model. That's kind of like you're not getting censored and all this. Like you just say what you want to say, dude. I enjoy it, but that, like they got all kind of stuff over there, man. Like you should download it and check it out.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Unite the 99. That's I like that title.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna wrap it.
But I might let you try it off the Hennessy. Make them sing.
Yeah.
What is that Doc says? I can't read it.
He said, my 3-year ban from Twitter is over at the end of the year.
3-year ban? Oh my God. All right.
What the hell was you doing, Doc? What was you doing, bro? Was you harassing congressmen? Did you send threatening to AOC? Did you send AOC threatening tweets?
He probably, and you know what? That might be one of them. But I mean, if we look at a 3-year period, that was definitely during Trump's reign. So he probably did some gangster shit when all of that stuff was going down. A 3-year ban. I've never heard of that. Like that's the first I've ever heard.
That's got to be the most strenuous one, other than taking your Twitter away forever, like they did Trump.
That's what I'm saying. He had to do some gangster shit.
Did you incite an insurrection, Doc? Did you incite an insurrection? He said, I told a popular bearded lady that a pig in a dress is still a pig, just in a dress. Oh.
Wow.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you, Doc. A man's a man's, a woman's a woman. And if you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. What was that? That was George W. Bush.
Or Miss Piggy.
Well, George W. Bush got in trouble for making that same comment. They was on his ass about it. Talk about if you put lipstick on the pig, it's still a pig. And they was like, what? You can't say that, George W. Bush?
Yeah, you can.
It's like you can't say that.
But see, but that's a whole nother thing. Like our Constitution is being like somebody's probably already burned it. Like, you know, having the right to say certain things is just like you get censored so quickly, and you know, it seems to lean to one side. Like if you're not on the side of the big dogs, you get shut down quick.
He said my lifetime got reduced to a 3-year after review. So they was gonna ban him for the lifetime, and they turned it to 3 years. Doc say, Curtis say, bro, no, some women grow beards.
Hello? Damn. We've been having some technical difficulties tonight.
I'm here. I keep pressing the fucking wrong buttons.
I was gonna say we've been going through some technical difficulties all night.
Yeah, it's been one of them nights. It's all good.
You were saying what Curtis you was telling what Curtis said before you got cut off.
Oh, okay. He said, bro, no, some women grow beards, LOL. And
yeah,
Doc says, do. Some women grow beards, but this was a beaver with a cleaver.
Oh, Lord.
We going all the way down the politically incorrect road right now.
But I love it. You say, bro, change shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's how bad it's gotten to where, like, you know, you being able to express yourself has gone totally away, especially if you're a man. Like, a lot of times, like, you could be saying a complete truth, but because, you know, somebody is allowing their feelings to get hurt by somebody who's so distant from you, like, it's a bunch of just pansies, you know. I don't know, man.
Like what they say, snowflakes.
Yeah.
They just triggered at every little thing.
It's just become such a soft ass country, man. Like, I don't know. I hate to see where we'll be 50 years from now, man. But then you never know. We could have a big change. I'm hoping that we can somehow recover from all of this constant failure.
I think, like I said earlier, man, nothing short of a revolution, man.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be a big change. I mean, that's how the you know, United States or this current government got into play was there was a revolution, like there was a coup, like they killed people in Congress and pretty much took over, and you know, after a bit of time they created like a new government, because I mean you know, all right, it was what the Continental Congress and the Confederacy before it was just like the United States. You know that, right? Before George Washington, because George Washington was a part of the Continental Congress. Like before there was a, you know, what we consider like a president. Because I guess there were like people who held an office like a president, but It was the Continental Congress and Confederacy. That's what the whole Confederate stuff, and it was black people. That's what the first Confederates were, black people. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and I think that's what they were trying to do with January 6th. You know, it's they're trying to do a revolution, and I don't think that they're giving up, bro. Like that's just like like, you know, I lost that battle. They're not stopping, bro. They want a revolution, a real revolution. But
all that was symbolism. That was a symbolism. That was not a real coup. Because I mean, they could have if they really wanted some shit. Like I mean, if it was a coup like what happened back in the 1700s, like there would have been like congressmen that would have been dead. Like too many people knew what was happening for it to go the way it did. You know, like I mean, if it took,
I think there were some people in that crowd that was willing to go all the way. They just, for whatever reason, didn't.
Potentially. I mean, it's kind of hard to say, but you know, like I said, I mean, it was too many people that knew what was happening beforehand for it to truly be, you know, a coup going on. Like they can't even truly call it an insurrection. Like maybe an attempted insurrection, but it wasn't a real insurrection. Like
this chick is
there's a bunch of them that, like, I mean, not necessarily wanting to see people dead, but I definitely want to see a bunch of those people out of there.
Well, you see what happened in France when the French Revolution. They killed all those people off with their head.
Well, I mean, and during that time, that was the only way to do it. Like really, like a bunch of these congressmen, these senators or whatever, like the people in their state need to be like, look, you got to go. Like we don't want you here. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, not only for our state but for our country. Like you taking us in a direction like that's. I mean, it's not enough pissed off people. Like it's just a bunch of passive.
And that's how I feel. Like whatever side you on, if you call yourself a liberal or conservative, Republican, Democrat, a centrist,
American, if you call yourself an American,
you should be pissed off. You should be pissed off. You should wake up in the morning pissed the fuck off.
Yeah, because I mean nobody's really holding any of these people truly accountable for their actions, and that's the biggest problem. Because if they were truly getting checked and they ass handed to them, they would do things differently. Like
I've been hearing about this. Let me play this because I've been hearing about this. But I didn't know what they were talking about. It keeps going down my timeline. Let's hear it.
Say not only no, but hell no. Because I must ask.
Let me try to start it over.
Time has come.
And mom's yelling,
Nigger! Can't we have a nigger? It's a nigger! Like a roach.
That was Lafayette City Judge Michelle O'Donnell out of Lafayette, Louisiana. And that was home security footage of a man attempting to break into her house. Judge O'Donnell is asking for forgiveness after that video has been leaked. Can I be the first to say not only no, but hell no? Because I must ask, how many times sitting on that bench have you used that same prejudice to sentence black men and women? In fact, in this same video, you encourage stealing from the man.
That was his wallet.
That's my phone where it fell out.
The dude had a phone on him. We should have taken his phone and stolen from him, that fucking asshole.
And the man who was trying to break into your house, he's going to get his due punishment as he should, while you're asking for forgiveness and encouraging your children to steal from the man who's going to go to jail for trying to steal from you. We must demand.
That's interesting. Doc put, what is the first thing Castro and Chavez do when they took power after taking out the standing leaders? they killed the revolutionaries. And that's what happens even in the Haitian Revolution. The leaders of the Haitian Revolution, they pretty much all died. Pretty much none of them made it on either. And that's pretty much what happens, really, because like Castro is an exception. But in history, usually the revolutionary ones, they don't end up making it because these are rowdy ass motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And then once the revolution is over, you don't really have as much use for these people. You know what I'm saying? They're just rowdy. They want to cause war. They want to kill people. You know what I'm saying? Once like, hey, the revolution is over, bro. We good. We want peace right now. No, there's always somebody to kill. You know what I mean?
But wasn't it his people that were the revolutionaries before they took over?
Who are you talking about?
Castro.
They were. But see, Castro, he played both ends. He said because they know how to do it and where the bodies are buried. Castro was a good and a bad guy. Like I be saying, a bad, good guy all the time. You know what I'm saying? Castro played both ends against the middle. You know what I'm saying? To gain his power and, to get in the position that he got in.
Well, the thing about it is that, I mean, it's a totally different action to be able to run a country, and you don't see all the sides until you're there. And
Right.
There's things that's like even with the Haitian Revolution, they when they went and fought all the people in power and they take over, Toussaint is like, we still got to get out here and move some of this sugar. I mean, like the work just began. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have these people, over us, beating our ass. But
It wasn't Toussaint because he. But it was him. Yeah, it was him. You're right. He did say that. Hey, y'all got to get out there and keep on making this sugar. This is how we make our money. And they were like, hey, this seems a lot like what slavery was like.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's a lot more to it. Like, I mean, shit, there's probably more work even after. Like, once you take the power, there's more work to be done because I mean, you're not only rebuilding your country after the war. Yeah, I mean, you still need to keep finances coming in so that you can have some growth. So I mean, that's just one of those things that is gonna play a part in running a government. And you let's just say, looking at it from Castro's end, he like maybe he did have vision to see what it was gonna be like, but I'm sure there's a bunch of people who like a bunch of them looked at him as if he was a bad guy, somebody who might have followed him from the beginning, in the beginning, but then they was like, wait a minute, I wasn't expecting all of this. I thought we was gonna be living in luxury after this.
Nah, nigga, you got to get back to work. Ain't no fucking sitting down on and chilling. No, bro, the work really begins now. Like you said, the hard work starts now.
Yeah,
it was fun before. Now, because you got to kill the slave masters and shit. But now we got to get back to work because, you know what I'm saying, we got to make money, or otherwise they're going to come and fucking take over our shit again. We got to have money and build relations with other countries and build trade and all of that shit.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think having your own business means that you sit back and you just watch the money come in. Nah, motherfucker, this is the shit. You're gonna work more than you ever worked in your life because
you don't clock out.
You have another responsibility now. Like you're not just a consumer where you can go buy something and go, enjoy it. No, you're the one that's creating these things that allow other people to be able to enjoy. So I mean, there's always gonna be more work the higher up that you go.
Yeah,
when you have more responsibility, that's just what it is.
That's just what it is. If you own your own company, you never clocking out, because when you sleeping, you thinking about shit, all kinds of shit related to whatever the hell.
Yeah, and that responsibility is that no matter what level. I mean, you have a little baby, you're like, oh, that's so cute. Oh my God, it's adorable, or whatever. But no, your ass got to stay up when they hungry. You got to be there. Shit, they need their diaper change. You know,
And
any
a
little,
lot of people are like that. They love kids as long as they get to give them back to the parents.
you know what I'm saying? So I mean, when you got a whole, you know, because I mean, if you're over a government, every citizen is your baby. Like, and you gotta have, you know, you may not be changing diapers and this, that, and the other, but you're still responsible for, you know, an outcome. You know.
Oh my God, I need to get off of this page. Woo.
Oh, I don't know what you saw, but
yeah, we're
that's
gonna
a
have
good
to
thing.
wrap it. Yeah, I'm sure it was a good thing. Some of this stuff is barely legal.
Shit, I need to see what get some of that shit on my page then.
Yeah, I had to clean my shit up. Like I say, my Twitter is. I tried to clean up my Twitter. I think it would take me literally all day, 24 hours to try to clean up my Twitter. It's too much debauchery on there. Twitter is like no man's land when it comes to like, and you know,
I didn't,
when they got.
I didn't know it got explicit like that. I thought, you know,
Oh
that
yeah,
was
Twitter it goes all the way there. And when YouTube, I mean, when they cracked down on that OnlyFans stuff, YouTube, I mean, Twitter cleaned up their act too, and they're cleaner than they was. I ain't gonna lie, because back when the OnlyFans things was going, Twitter was super wild, but Twitter is still wild. It's still wild.
Yeah. What was the story? Because I saw something earlier about Boosie going off on TMZ and somebody else earlier today. Is that what?
Well, the one I just scrolled past was about him getting sued. I think they said 325 million. I think it was a fight at his concert or something.
325 million.
That's the number I'm throwing out.
No, it's got to be thousand.
It could have been thousand. I saw 325. Yeah, I stopped reading that 325.
Shit, Boosie rich, but he
ain't got that. And but that's what they do. They do those over the top suits like that so that they can try to get, I don't know, 10% of it. I'm infatuated with this chick right here, but you can't see it. You can't see this. I'm gonna show you this shit next time.
Nah, from what I saw, yeah, that was nice. That's my height. She's kind of on the slim side, you know, but she's still a little thick on
right in the derriere area.
Yeah.
Yeah, this chick is a model. Be killing.
I'm not really all for those skinny chick. You know what I'm saying? Like
I
don't know.
I really like the tall ones. I got a thing for tall chicks. So that's what it be.
And I'm the opposite. I don't know what it is. Like the little 4'11", 5 foot.
Those the ones that do it for you.
You know, I don't have them all. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I don't discriminate. Don't get me wrong. Get me wrong. Oh yeah, I'm totally okay with a four
short, tall,
4'2",
thick and small. I like.
Yeah, big. You know, round, not round.
I had them all.
All the different colors too. The whole rainbow.
Oh yeah, I don't shit, dude. I worked at LSU for some years, dude. Like, that's international city.
Oh, nice. Maybe. They're nice.
Yeah, see, other girls got to say something about it.
Maybe.
Yeah, because you probably couldn't get 10, 20 feet close to her. Unless you was a photographer or one of the ones that lotion the chicks up. There's a clip in here. The photographer was doing the lotion thing. Man, that's got to be the greatest job. I don't know. I mean, how does your wife feel about that? You know, your job is to oil up chicks.
I'm making a change today to live.
Like super gorgeous chicks, like all day, like you get to oil them up.
No,
and shit.
I've actually experienced stuff like that, and it's like act like it's no big deal. It's just a job.
I guess so.
Like I used to be a model in my early years.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've seen shit like that where, like, I mean, either she's there doing it, she might be helping some, he's doing, you know, but that's a part of the job and no big deal.
Yeah.
Something, you know,
I guess you're getting paid really good probably doing jobs like that. So I guess the wife can't really complain. She's like, as long as you bring home this check.
yeah, no, and she's there. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like, you know, there's room for, well, I mean, and it's probably not that case for everybody. You know what I'm saying? A wife may, but still in all.
Wait, not this one. Take one of these other ones. Hold on, because that one already connected to this one. Thank you. Yeah, I'm here. My bad. Let's read some comments. He says, he says, you don't open a business, you raise a child. Ain't that the truth? He says, Doc says he's so cute. Curtis say, I was gonna watch porn, but this is better. He said TikTok is worse. It's basically an ad platform for OnlyFans. I don't really be on TikTok, so that's why I probably don't know. I can't stand TikTok. It bothers me so much. I don't know what it is. And all the damn things are the same. That's what everybody say. You know, it's the same. But TikTok bothers me. Facebook bothers me too. That's why I don't be on there. He said short, tall. He said short, tall, thin, thick, light skin, dark skin. As long as they say yes, I'm game.
Yes. Who was that, Doc or Curtis?
That was Doc.
Yes. I'm with you, bro. Like, but I ain't gonna lie. Like, you know, I do have my my preferences. I don't know what it is about dark skinned women, bro. Like that shit just like
the really chocolate ones. Yes, the really chocolate ones. Yes, they do stick out. The chocolate ones with like natural hair. Oh my god. Yes, that's the one I'm gonna pick over all the rest of them. And it's not no racial thing. It's just they skin just be like gleaming.
Yeah, I mean, if this got healthy skin, it's it's clear, stuff like that. Like, yeah, they stand out to me. Like, I mean, like I said, I love women, period. But for whatever reason, that's the ones that catch my attention quicker than anybody else.
Me too. I'm the same way. It's the chocolate ones, like very, very chocolate, like dark-skinned ones. Yeah. Yep. Those are definitely my favorite overall. But I'll take them vanilla. I'll take them caramel. The whole nine.
Indeed.
Man,
but look, I'm gonna tell you, one woman that I think that like, or type of woman that I think is like super, other than like the darks, like a dark skinned Asian.
Yeah.
Like they kind of like the medium brownish or whatever.
Like that's like the perfect mix.
Oh my goodness. A Blasian, I guess it would be.
Yeah, that's the perfect mix. Curtis, you remember this chick? She used to work at the restaurant.
That's why I might hire my next wife from Black
She's still there, Curtis. I know he remember that chick. I can't think of her name right now, bro. You know, I suck at names. But you knew this chick, bro. She just looked different in regular clothes. She had a baby not that long ago. She was pregnant at the J. I want to say she got pregnant at the J. And she left before she had the baby, I want to say. Either that or she got pregnant right after she left, something like that.
Is that in Houston?
Yeah, this is in Houston. I think she's still in Houston. I don't know. The chick was in Houston. That's how we knew her from. Wait a minute. Let me see. That nigga Curtis still there? I know you remember this chick. I'm not gonna say her name. You remember this chick, right? She follows me on Instagram. Cause I be posting interesting stuff, you know what I mean?
Okay. Mr. Interesting.
I try to keep them interested, you know what I mean? Sasha. I know Doc was Doc there when Sasha was there? I'm sure you worked with Sasha, right, Doc? Yeah, I told you, Curtis, you need to make you a damn Instagram. Told you. Doc says Black Vietnamese women. Yeah, I agree.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I dated this Vietnamese girl. Shit. This was, I guess, I was in. No, I wasn't. Well, I wasn't in college, but I was. This was during my, I guess you could say, college years. Man, that girl would do anything, and I say anything. I mean anything.
Yeah, that sounds great. My dad had a baby with a chick in Thailand when he was in the military.
Oh yeah.
So I got a random. Nope. I got a random brother or sister somewhere in Thailand.
Probably almost impossible to find them, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if he was there and he ended up with those same last name, then maybe. If not, then no way in hell.
Yeah.
My sister was telling me about it. I need to ask her about how does she come across that information, because whatever way she found out, then maybe there's a way to follow up on that.
But they would be older than you, right?
Yes, they would be older than me. Yeah, because my dad met my mom after he came from the military. Who the fuck is this bitch? Looking like Sweetie. Anyways, y'all, I gotta wrap it. He said thousands of kids were left behind. Doc says thousands of kids were left behind in Vietnam in the 60s and 70s. Yeah. I believe it.
A bunch of Americans over in Vietnam.
I believe it.
A bunch of them.
And probably stuck. Because one of the things I learned in my class was that Haitians born in the Dominican Republic have no citizenship or whatever you call it. Like they're not Haitian and they're not Dominican because the Dominicans won't recognize them as Dominican, even though they were born in Dominican Republic, because if they had both Haitian parents, but they're also not recognized in Haiti because they wasn't born in Haiti.
And that's not, see, that's where the whole border thing makes no sense. That's a conversation where I really think that those borderlines makes no damn sense.
It's dumb because the Dominicans don't like Haitians and they don't want to add their population of Haitians. They're always trying to lower their population of Haitians. So even if you were born in Haiti, even if you were born in Dominican Republic, if your parents were Haitian, then you don't get to get Haitian citizens. You don't get to get Dominican citizenship. It's one of their rules. It's crazy.
That's crazy. So these are, see, and that's an example of a stateless person. Like,
yeah, they're stateless.
Like a lot of black people. Yeah, a bunch of black people here in America are just that too. You know, or you can say a sub-citizen because you're not like. By law, you're not really a citizen.
There's one chick that I follow. I hope she pops up, but it's a really dark-skinned chick. She is the most gorgeous chick that I follow. Like, she's from like an island. She's from like, I don't know, somewhere like, I want to say Jamaica, but one of those Caribbean islands. And this bitch is so fucking gorgeous.
Good Lord.
She don't post a lot though. The one I'm talking about doesn't post a lot. And there's a bunch of fake pages of her because she's so fucking hot. People just rip her pictures and then they make fake pages. So her page, she posts pictures and then she'll delete them hoes like soon after. And on her page, it's only a few pictures. It'd be nice if that bitch popped up right now while I'm talking about it.
Oh, I've been watching you.
No fucking way. This bitch don't know I fucking exist. If the bitch knew I exist, she recognized me as somebody posting thirsty comments under her pictures. That's that one that's always talking about have a good day or some shit.
Yeah.
Enjoy your day, sweetie, or some stupid shit like that. Grand Rising Queen.
Shit.
Damn it. It'd be so nice if I could find that page. I wonder if she would pop out there under my search because no. I'm gonna wrap it anyways. I'm fucking tired, y'all. I gotta work tomorrow.
I done made it down to Birmingham.
Yep, Alabama. Where were you coming from?
I was on the south end of Georgia. What was his name? Rising Fawn or Rising? Right, yeah, I think it's Rising Fawn was the name of the town I was parked in.
I like this chick's page, but it's mainly because of her personality. She got a really cool personality.
Yeah, okay.
Astrology. We have Venus retrograde coming up, and as we all know, retrogrades can tend to be an intense and rough time. The matters of the planet retrograding tend to blow up and get out of hand. And since it's Venus retrograding, this is going to affect relationships, money, business, the things that we value in general. Past lovers tend to come back, and we tend to retrospect on them. And present love tends to be tested. Best advice: value yourself. Not feeling my best today, but let's talk astrology.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it's a good time to make some investments. You got you some money.
Yeah, that's something I don't have. I'm out of there on the money blast. Where is this fucking chick? I wish I knew her name. I really want to show that shit. I'm gonna look for that shit and save it for next show. Fucking swear, because watch that shit pop up this time. That nigga Curtis said I was gonna watch porn.
You didn't hear the little joke I was making about you. It's like, yeah, I really like her because of her personality. I was like,
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, and she's cute. Yeah, I can't fucking refresh this shit. And I'm hot. All right, y'all, let's wrap it. I need to cool off and try to relax. Doc said, to be fair, many service guys stayed there and a lot brought their families back home, but a lot of them were abandoned as well. Talking about Vietnam.
Probably a lot more were abandoned than, because I mean, what was the country where, because the Philippines, a bunch of them came, but there was a bunch of them that got left behind. They wouldn't dare bring one of those girls back home.
And that sucks, man. And a lot related to Vietnam was racist. It was very racist. And
yeah, I mean,
that clip of the little girl running down the street after being on fire from napalm, like 12 years old. You ever saw that clip?
No, thank God.
Fucking, that shit went viral. It's she wasn't burned, like she didn't have no clothes on. She was running down the street. She wasn't on fire, but like she was running from the fire. And her family and shit had just got fucking. And that's why they outlawed that napalm shit. Like that shit is horrible. That's some horrible shit to do to someone.
Yeah, man. I can only imagine, bro. Like I said, I'm glad I didn't see it, because
that's why a lot of those people who came back is so fucked up, because they was over there just like the guy we had on the other night who said he had to drive. Oh shit. He had to drive his damn tractor over damn women and children. Like that's the kind of shit that have you all fucked up in the head. That's the kind of shit that I have you, PTSD and can't come back to society type shit.
I already know I would. I know I would have been fucked up if I was over there. Like shit, some of the damn nightmares or dreams that I done had. Shit, that shit would have really fucked with me. And then like my pineal gland is open, so like my shit be vivid. Hello? You still there? Did he leave the show?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, now I can. I was wondering what happened. I was like, did he just leave? And
The thing is acting weird. It's crazy because I can hear myself through the mic, but it's not showing my screen. That's really strange. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap it anyway because my computer's acting crazy.
for sure.
So y'all, thanks a lot. Thank y'all for joining. Peace and love. Damn, we almost at 4 hours, and I don't like going to 4 hours. And we'll be back tomorrow, man. I'm gonna try to give y'all a good show tomorrow.
So no.
And Pat, send me some stuff. Whatever you watching on YouTube or whatever. And I'd love to see some more of the Unite to 99 stuff.
For sure. Well, you go to. I don't know if you on OIS or iOS or whatever it's called, or Apple, or like, get the app. Join.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
send me the
it's
link. It's because I don't want to do the wrong one or a picture of the link or picture of the the app.
all right.
So I won't get the wrong one.
Yeah,
All right,
but it's
y'all.
all it is UNITED 99 unite. No, not ED. Unite, not united. Is unite the 99. But
I'm
I'll see if I.
I'm an internet person, so I know how them damn and because people create fake pages, they do it all the time, and
No,
it's like,
this is an app.
yeah, they could create imitation apps. People do that all the time, and I fuck around and be on the wrong ass shit and don't even know it.
All right, I'll share it with you.
All right, man. Peace and love, y'all. Thank y'all for joining. Y'all have a good night. Curtis, stop drinking so much. Doc, stop reading so many books.
No, neither one of y'all stop what y'all doing. Y'all appreciate y'all and hopefully see y'all tomorrow.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for joining. Y'all have a good one. Peace.
Deuces.
All right.
Peace.